Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Tune in to Cody and Gold starting at 10 as they broadcast live from Chiefs training camp with exclusive one-on-one interviews and real-time updates from practice. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, here we go on a Monday. It's Cody and Gold live up in St. Joe. Day number 1 of Chiefs camp for us. It also is the final day of it only being rookies in quarterbacks here at Mo West. They got an off day tomorrow. Then Wednesday, it really gets going when the full squad is up here. Still no padded practice till the weekend, but things will really pick up tomorrow. In fact, today, Patrick Mahomes is not even out at the practice field today. It's a vet day off. No surprise. That happens every single year for the most part. So that is the scene so far today at practice. We'll highlight a few other players and some things going on here. Unfortunately, we start with the terrible news of the day around the Chiefs offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy, and his wife and his family. I'm sure you guys, if you were just listening to Fesco and Dusty, I'm sure they spent a good chunk of the last hour talking about it as well. Just awful, awful news out of Ashburn, Virginia, where last night, and it's now been not only reported, but now there's an official media release from the Loudoun County, Virginia Sheriff's Office. But last night, deputies responded to a report of a shooting. Deputies located one adult female suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. She was transported to a nearby hospital. We now know, of course, that is the wife, Mia, the wife of Eric Bieniemy, that was in that situation. And Nate Taylor has since reported in the last, I don't know, Cody, 10 minutes or so, thank goodness she is in stable condition at this time at the hospital. Nate Taylor from ESPN is going to join us at some point after practice today as well to talk more about this. We also now know it's been confirmed that Eric Bieniemy's son, Elijah, was arrested and charged with malicious wounding, use of a firearm in commission of a felony, and discharge of a firearm inside of a dwelling. So just terrible news to get this morning, and our thoughts obviously with Eric Bieniemy and his wife.
Yeah, I mean, really, really awful. Obviously, there's not much to say other than we'll see kind of as this story progresses. Maybe we'll get some, like, what happened or the background behind what happened, but you know, and not that we need that or anything like that. It's just a really, really sad story and scary, obviously, that you and I don't know, whatever it was, 9 o'clock or whatever, that we saw that it had taken place. And then, of course, the news that it was their son who was charged with the shooting and 3 different, I think, felonies, right? The malicious wounding, discharging a firearm, et cetera. And so, like, when you look at it, man, really, really, really scary, really awful. Last in stable condition for now. I mean, that seems to be the only piece of good news out of that so far, right, Gold, is that she's at least at the moment at stable condition, and Nate's confirmed he's not at practice.
Yeah, we didn't see him out there, and he has confirmed that he's not in St. Joseph, Missouri, anymore, obviously.
Yeah, I would think he'd be heading back to Virginia.
Yeah, I would assume immediately when you're dealing with a tragedy like this. So that, unfortunately, has become the story here so far at training camp. And I doubt we'll get another update, Cody, before our show is off, except maybe Nate Taylor will have some more information when he joins us later on. So terrible news. Our thoughts again with Eric Bieniemy and his wife and everything that's going on back in Virginia, which has casted a cloud, of course, over practice today. And look, normally there's a sense of excitement around camp. Now it's also a day where there's no fans here anyway, so the energy
and
level,
all the veterans aren't here, so it's not the same anyway.
The energy level's pretty toned down to begin with on a Monday practice like this.
Yeah, we're mostly just watching people in shells, run a few 7-on-7 drills, and hanging out. There's not much to observe yet, but we're going to keep an eye on some of the different matchups. We know Monsieur Delane is still in the non-contact injury. I've already killed 3 wasps. You know, the normal training camp stuff, Gold.
Yeah, 3 wasps. 3 wasps are down. That is.
I see another one
true.
that's been flying over on that post next to you. So
thank you.
I'm gonna have to take 4th out here soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
But no, going back a little bit to the story, it's kind of crazy because, like, of course we don't know what's happened. But like, anytime you see a headline like that, when you see Elijah B. Enemy 27 was arrested for charging and shooting, you're like, man, what happened? Like, how? And you know,
I don't get into that.
No, I know.
I'm
It just raises.
that game,
No, I'm saying like I'm not saying to speculate on what took place, but your brain immediately goes to that point.
Sure,
where you're like, what, like what took place, and like it's just sad, obviously, in that, and then and this has, like, there are things that players or coaches or whatever get themselves in situations, and there's situations that happen to you and are no way you're doing, but it's just like every offseason we sit here and
there's something.
Yeah. And again, these aren't the same. I'm not trying to compliment between the two, but it's like, just feel like there's always something before the season starts, and this one being terrible and scary and so many other things. It's just another, list of things that seemingly occur before the game 1 of the season for the Chiefs the last decade. That's all. Really scary. We obviously don't have a ton to talk about on it, but we'll talk about it more with Nate Taylor as he'll join us today. Sometime after practice, we're not exactly sure when yet, but sometime after practice wraps up and the few undrafted free agent rookies talk, we'll discuss it more with him. It isn't much. We won't go out to the podium today. I can't remember the name of the 3 players. Now I feel bad. Do you remember?
Armstead or Armstrong? It's a bunch of undrafted
Armstrong.
guys.
Armstrong was definitely one of them. Come on, now you don't remember the other one? You're the one who looked at the list.
Yeah, it's a bunch of undrafted guys that we're not carrying their press conferences anyway.
Andrew Armstrong, the running back E.J. Smith, and safety Xavier Nwankwa. I don't know. Those are the 3 guys who will be at the podium today. So we won't actually go out there. It'll be our first chance to see guys like Garrett Musselman or Justin Fields in person. There's the dropbacks. Man, I think I see him throw. Let's just dropbacks. And by the way, everyone on the field can definitely hear anything we're saying, right?
It's quiet, so yes. Peter Woods is right there in front of you. Yeah, he's right there going through some drills. Today's a very light, air quote, practice that's going on here with just rookies and undrafted guys. People are warning you, though, Cody, that you're killing wasps or attracting more wasps.
What do you mean?
They said it can attract more to the nest, that they must leave like some sort of scent or something behind.
Well, they weren't all right by the broadcast studio. They were just in and around the general area of the tent. Also, I commit wasp murder every year and plan to continue to forever because they constantly invade these like tent posts, Gold, and just like live inside. And, like, I don't know what else to do. I don't want to get stung every year, so we're just kind of stuck in no man's land.
Yeah, by the way, our training camp coverage presented by Break Time. Whether fueling up or grabbing a snack on the way to training camp, Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app and find a location near you. All right, reminder, let's get into some camp stuff here. So a little bit later on this hour, Camp Darling Island, we did it last year. We will each draft 3 or 4 players to our team, and then we will vote people off the island throughout camp. We'll get to some of the stipulations and the rules later on. Remember, it cannot be the first-round pick, so it can't be Monsoor Delane. He's the number 6 overall pick. He's
He's been in too many camps.
Not a Camp Darling. It can't be a vet. You can't tell me Travis Kelce, obviously, is Camp Darling or Patrick Mahomes. No. It's got to be guys like Emmett Johnson or Cyrus Allen or Armstrong or Canada, the corner, or maybe, I guess, I don't know.
We went up to 2nd round last year.
Yeah,
we allowed Omar Norman Lott to be drafted. Are we sure
so
R. Mason Thomas can't be?
He can be drafted, but you can't draft Peter Woods on this. Up a little bit later
What about
on.
Nico Remigio? He's been around for 10 years.
Been around too long.
Yeah,
Been around too long. Although, we'll talk about this later, he might have the inside track on the 4th wide receiver role just because you've got Royals and Allen with essentially they're almost both rookies, as Nate Taylor kind of pointed out. He's gonna, as you said, join us later. So we'll get to Camp Darling Island. We also, a little bit later on in the show, we'll get into specifically some of the other headlines in the NFL. Kyle Shanahan in a serious car wreck that nobody knew about till camp actually started. And I can't wait till about 12:45 or so, and that's a long ways from now, and I apologize. And we'll turn our microphones up. People saying they're having a problem hearing us, JT, so we'll turn our microphones up.
Sure, let's go up
just a little bit. And that would be that Salvador Perez made history, passing George Brett over the weekend, and with that, the Royals put out a song. They asked somebody to do a song, or somebody did one, and they thought it was good enough to share. You notice they never shared yours.
I did notice. Mm-hmm. They haven't shared a single one of my songs. And I will say, now that they're sharing the work of others, hurts a little, if we're being honest. It definitely stings. But I do think the song. So you guys think I'm a hater of any song that exists that I didn't make? Like I trashed Pat McAfee's song, right?
Yep.
So you guys think I'm just a hater. I will say, as a preview for the song, I think it's good. I think it's quite good, the Salvador Perez song. So or at least a little bit I've heard of it. The early impressions are good. So maybe, I don't just hate just to hate. There's
And
versions
by the way,
of things that are good.
out of all of them, it's a Royals song, too. How about
know.
that?
Those are the ones
You've
I've done
made
the
so
most.
many, and they said, nope, this one right away vaults to the top. You missed your opportunity, Cody. You missed your chance.
You think so?
Yes, we'll play that later on.
All
in the
right.
show
Well,
today.
maybe one day the Royals will give me another
You
chance.
guys can still interact. We got the text line pulled up even if we're on remote up here in St. Joe. 913-586-7965. The Jay Southland Tow Service text line. Video stream is up and running back in the studio. We got our figurines up there. JT put those up. So on YouTube, Twitch, X, and Facebook, you can still watch the show if that's how you normally consume the show as well. But other than the obvious headline, unfortunately, of the day, as we mentioned off the top here with Eric Bieniemy, other camp observations so far, it was the obvious. I was hoping to see Patrick Mahomes today, but again, he's taken a vet day off. But that, of course, has been the story so far of camp is that he was out here, that he got cleared to practice as we expected on Friday. And we're going to have Aaron Borgman, who's a former NFL trainer, join us in the 1 o'clock hour to get his perspective on just recovering from ACL and LCL injuries because Chase Daniel, former NFL quarterback from former Missouri Tiger, was kind of evaluating what he saw in film. And this is a former quarterback from Patrick Mahomes, just in the brief look they got at practice the other day. And if we have that audio, JT, this is what Chase Daniel had to say about watching Patrick Mahomes throw the football the other day.
Absolutely still babying the left knee. He looks trimmer. He looks a little bit more explosive, but he's absolutely still babying the left knee. And so a lot of people will say, hey, he looks full go. I mean, week one, in my opinion, still in question. Wouldn't be surprised he did this, in December. And so this is a 7-step drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're faking to the right. A lot of times when you're going that way, you'll just open up that way. I don't know. I've never really seen them spin out to their handoff. So it's a spin out fake. I don't know if that is because of his left foot, because he wants it. I don't know. That's a good question. It's something to really look at. I'll go back and look at other videos and we'll see, but pretty good little throw right there. A lot of times, look at his left leg right there. It's pointed right at his target. His knee looks a little bit left, but he can't really bend it. So when your plant leg gets down, it's tough.
So that was Chase Daniel, right? That's a former NFL quarterback breaking it down. It's not like you and I trying to evaluate somebody's need. You heard it from him.
Or how they look in a rollout, yeah.
Correct. So that's what he's saying. Now, I would say it's July 27th still. He's got over a month still to get even more comfortable with that knee. And this goes back to, I know you guys were very critical of David Chow, the former Chargers doctor and all that, when he kept saying he doesn't think Mahomes will be 100% by week one. And we don't need to rehash the debate that we had, and Drew's not here. He's in Outer Banks, so he was the one who went back and forth with me on it. But I think what Chase Daniel just said is what even Dr. Chow is saying. He's medically cleared. We all think he still play. He's going to play week one, barring something crazy happening. But there are still going to be some things that don't look the same initially. And that, I think, is what's happening right now. Now, I love seeing the video of him rolling out left yesterday, considering the knee injury. That, to me, is a great sign. But that's Chase Daniel, who played the position, acknowledging that, there's some things there that you can tell are still a little off. And it's understandable, by the way.
Yeah, look, and his leg looks a little bit skinnier, so that's not surprising in a lot of ways. It's going to take, and this is what the good news is about the season starting so late is, there's still like 6 full weeks before this man's going to play a football game. 7 weeks. That's a lot of healing time, Alex. There's a big difference between today and what he looks like rolling out in a practice. And today he's not practicing, but you know what I mean. Yesterday, rolling out in a practice, and what we would anticipate he needs to look like 6-7 weeks from now when he needs to be out there. And so that version of it completely changes it in a lot of ways where I guess I just don't overly freak out. It is also weird, like being up here at camp, because it's a quiet one, so it doesn't feel that way.
Quiet.
Maybe it's a different conversation for Wednesday. But you also know, right, that we're like counting down the number of times we drive up to St. Joe, right? It's like, it's this in like 4 more years or 5 more years, and then This thing's going to be in Olathe. We won't even be coming up to training camp anymore.
We got some time. But you're right. Yeah, these are the final 4 or 5 of them up in St. Joe as well. That is true. That is very true.
So, and then it'll be at the Olathe practice facility with a different head coach, hypothetically.
And it probably is going to look a hell of a lot different.
Yeah, it'll all feel different and look a lot different outside.
Why do you got to bump people out? Well,
you could be nostalgic about it.
Yeah, but
you could look at it from
You and I have had stadium conversations.
I know.
Usually people don't go the nostalgia route. Usually people get angry.
It is weird. What do you think? What do you think the final games at Arrowhead and Kauffman will be like? Like the last ones. Like, this is the last game the Royals will play at Kauffman Stadium. This is the last. There'll be sellouts.
Yeah, it's going to be an epic atmosphere. Yeah,
man, it'll be crazy. That's 5 years from now. We can
we got time, man.
Too early? Too early in the week? Too early in the day? Which one is it?
Well, the camp thing is relevant. We're at camp. Well, then
it made me think about the next thing.
The stadium thing, yeah, we got some time. The camp thing, same deal. It'll look different. Just remember, the Chiefs are one of 5 teams that still go away. I think it's 5 or 6 teams in the league. Something like that still go away for training camp. Old school mentality. That's Andy Reid. A lot of teams now just do it at their facility right there next to their stadium or whatever. The Chiefs, I think the Cowboys still go out to California.
Or California, that's where they
Oxnard, California, I believe. And there's a few other teams that do that as well. Otherwise, they stay put.
We'll get a weather report coming up from Cloudy with a Chance in just a few minutes. But one of the biggest NFL headlines over the weekend is that Kyle Shanahan was in a serious car wreck right before camp started. He won't be coaching during the beginning of camp. And as a result of that, has to, go through normal concussion protocol. Now, by all police report accounts, there's nothing nefarious going on. No one was charged with, texting or drinking. There was no charges at all, as a matter of fact. It's just 2 people who got in a car accident, and the other driver is uninjured, according to reports, and things are okay. But this is, for the 49ers, this just feels like one of those – that franchise can't even, keep the coach healthy things. That was my initial thought. Even your coach is now having something. It's always some player for them or always something, injury-wise for them versus the other way. And then there was the whole other report where apparently everybody on the beat knew Alex and chose to keep it quiet for him, which I found interesting, too. So, I don't know. Now we got coaches on the injured list before the season starts. It's crazy.
John Lynch, the GM of the Niners, had a press conference on Saturday, and he said, look, there is no protocol for coaches or staff members that get injured. And so they chose to go through the same protocols they would with the player. So that's why Kyle Shanahan, they're having him go through the normal concussion protocol. And he's been to the facility, but he's not there for a long time and that kind of stuff. And look, it sounds like he's going to be ready by the start of the season. They've got their assistant head coach that's in charge, that's been experienced for a while. They got Raheem Morris, who's their new DC, who's got head coaching experience. I don't think it'll really have much of a bearing on the start of the season for the 49ers. But what you said about the fact that it did not come out until the day the Niners were reporting to camp is kind of interesting. And this gets into the weeds a little bit because some people say, well, why did anybody need to know when he's sooner? Well, it's because he's a public figure. And
he's the head coach of an NFL football team, unavailable for the beginning of training.
He's the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. And so the fact that he got in an accident and nobody knew about it, or some people in the beat did for the Niners and intentionally withheld the information until the Niners announced it, gets into that weird gray area of, frankly, access journalism, and I don't think it's going to really interest much of our audience to talk about that all that much. But that's been part of the story, though, for sure, which is how did it stay quiet as long as it did?
Well, and I guess that, it's weird. I've been in one circumstance where this took place, and it wasn't even anywhere near this serious, and we all didn't report it. And so, I don't want to be overly critical of, the entire beat of the San Francisco 49ers. It was literally one time. It was when an outfielder for the Royals had been traded because we all watched him say goodbye and pack up his locker and say goodbye to his teammates, and we knew he was no longer going to be a member of the Kansas City Royals. And then we sat in an office where the Royals were like, can you tell us about this player being traded? And they were like, no, we cannot, because it technically wasn't official. And there were 4 of us. And they were like, we will tell you when it happened. And then we all missed the actual report of it happening because we were on an airplane flying back from the end of spring training. And it was at that time, I thought, why the hell am I keeping this a secret for you? I watched the guy pack up. He's not going to be a Royal anymore. But it also felt so unimportant at the time that I didn't care. So I was like, whatever. It's one player. Whatever. This is like a car crash involving the team's head coach. That feels so much more significant in that category. So I guess their PR staff has to take the huge win, because if their job is to keep things quiet and to do things on your term, congratulations, you did that. But I am surprised it did not leak sooner, because it could, and it might not, but it very well could, Alex, have an actual impact on their season if their head coach in an important install period might not be available to the same level he normally would be, right? I mean, it could have an actual tangible impact on wins and losses this year for the team. It might not, but it could.
I don't know. I mean, if you told me that the concussion symptoms carried into the regular season for Kyle Shanahan and he was missing games and stuff, then yes. Otherwise, I think, look, training camp, experienced coaches, the practice plan and all that kind of stuff. Look, I think Kyle Shanahan's a great coach, but training camp can go on just fine if Kyle Shanahan's not there. They have the same quarterback. He's got the,
I know, but they change installs. There are important things that happen at training camp.
But the installs, I mean, some of that, like some of that stuff, Brock Purdy's had access to already. Like, I mean, the coaches are obviously out there executing the same way Kyle Shanahan would. I mean, one of the guys that's filling in, I believe, has been with Kyle Shanahan for 10 or 12 years. He knows what Kyle Shanahan's wanting to see from his players. I don't think, of course, it's a story. I'm not saying it's not a story. I'm just saying I don't think if you thought the Niners were finishing with 10 wins, I don't think now you're saying, oh my gosh, they're an 8-win football team because Kyle Shanahan got in a car accident.
I would say that I don't know yet, but that
he's worth 2 wins.
If they look real sloppy to start the season, I'm going to have a hard time not correlating the two. You and I will never be able to prove if that's the reason, right? You can say it's not, I can say it is. It won't really matter, right? Like in the sense that there is no proving it. But I'll have a hard time if they start for the first month weird and wonky and slow and look out of sorts. I'll assume that their head coach being unavailable for parts of important practice and install time, at least according to the head coach of this team, that it's not. I don't know.
It's just a bigger deal to me when the season starts. He's the play caller still out in San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan is. So if he's got concussion symptoms and is not there, or he's dealing with headaches on the sideline, that's to me when it would be an impact. During camp, I don't know if it matters all that much. But yeah, if he's not there for week 1, then it's a bigger story to me with that. But that was a bizarre story that came out on Saturday.
We'll talk more about the news involving Eric Bieniemy and his son and his wife coming up a little bit later on the show, as Nate Taylor will join us coming up in a little bit. But it's our first training camp up here, and last year, for the first time, we had a weather reporter who would give us, I guess, somewhat demeaning weather reports to you or I or Drew at times, but we need them for any of the people coming up to training camp as you start to arrive later this week. Can we get our weather report, our first one of the year, from Cloudy with a Chance?
With your training camp forecast, I'm meteorologist Cloudy with a Chance, and what do I need to say here? I mean, honestly, it's fucking hot out. Highs of 100 today, heat index around 113. I mean, come on. I know I like taking shots at you guys here on these weather reports, but nothing's gonna burn you more than the sun will today. See if Chris Jones has any snow cones and go inside. Damn! With your training camp forecast, I'm meteorologist Cloudy with a Chance for Cody and Gold on 96.5 The Fan.
So that was Cloudy with a
Good
Chance
start
with their first weather reports of training camp. And, yeah, I think he covered the important stuff. It is hot as bleep out here.
Chris Jones isn't even here.
Not,
Vets aren't here. They're all just kicking it inside in some air conditioning, I assume.
That's right.
Probably playing some video games, just laughing at everyone.
Just chilling. Yeah, I mean,
There's a slight breeze, which helps. It is hot, though, Gold, right? I mean, it's not
People are guessing they think that's Logan.
It's not Logan.
It's not Logan. It's not Logan. Cloudy with a Chance is Cloudy.
He's his own entity.
His own person.
Only shows up come training camp. I appreciate that you guys.
No shots fired our way yet. At least that's good.
Honestly, he said nothing was going to burn us worse than the actual sun. Which you guys, we're currently mostly shaded. I got a little bit of skin exposure, but that's about it. It's like one of those, and this is always a thing that reminds me about getting back to camp. It's it is, and maybe this is why Andy likes it. If you want to be prepared to play some Miami December game outside, I don't know there's a better place on the planet than St. Joe in August or July in training you to play in extreme heat.
But it's not even about
some other building.
Yeah, I don't think it's even about the weather. I think Andy likes it because they're all stuck in a dorm room and they're all stuck
forced
in the
to focus
same
on
spot.
football.
And it is team building, and they're all in one spot, and their only worry and focus is football. They're not practicing and still going back home and doing their thing or whatever if you were having camp on site. This is a true old school training camp. Obviously, they can't do 2-a-days like they used to do back in the day. Could you imagine? But that's the mentality that Andy likes, is that they're at a dorm room and they're doing practice, and then they do film, and then they're eating together, and then they're doing treatment together. All that, everything is a unit, and that's why they do this. That's why he still does it. And look, the results have been pretty darn good, I would say, for Andy Reid with this camp mentality. Now, that doesn't mean that if they switch to play,
that they wouldn't be successful.
But it's worked, so you're not gonna mess with that.
This goes into what we talked about for part of last season, which is I never blamed them for not making massive wholesale changes going into last year, because what would convince you needed changing? Going to the AFC title game 7 out of 7 years, or going to the Super Bowl 5 out of 7 years? What would you want to change about that? No, there'd be no part of that would make me want to change any part of my process in any capacity. It was working all the way until it didn't. And now you have to look at some of the things to realize maybe where you are, but still, absolutely. Like, I never blame them for doing this kind of stuff. And so
they'll do this as long as Andy Reid's the head coach,
will.
and obviously as long as they're still residing in the state of Missouri. After that, those two things both changing, and they can both happen around the same time, possibly. Then they will not probably have this mentality, because again, a lot of the newer, younger coaches in the league, they don't go away unless it's something that ownership wants to keep, right? Jerry Jones, they've had numerous head coaches and they've always gone away. But they're also, as hot as it is here, obviously they're also going
But Jerry
away.
also runs that show unlike anyone else.
And
if the next coach came in, Clark wouldn't stop him from doing it at the practice facility.
Correct. Yeah, Jerry Jones runs the show at the Cowboys, and it's not like they don't have they have Frisco, Texas. They got the great facility right there in Frisco if they wanted. That's where they practice already. They just choose to not go there for training camp.
Yeah, it's going to be, I don't know. It's 5 years from now, so we don't have to worry about it, but it will look a lot different 5 years from today.
We're just getting started. First day of training camp for us, at least. Last day of just rookies and quarterbacks here in St. Joe, and then on Wednesday we're back up here, and that'll be the first real practice, at least with everybody. And then the next step after that, of course, is a padded practice. But up next, let's talk about a couple of these rookies that we're watching out here today. Cyrus Allen, Emmett Johnson. They already commented about the way practice is going so far. And we have our Camp Darling Island draft. We'll pick 3 or 4 players that we think could end up being the 2026 Camp Darling.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats. And get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
The Advent Health Championship is Casey's only PGA Tour event. Whether you're a golfer or you just want to be part of the fun, family-friendly event, see the future stars of the PGA Tour at Blue Hills Country Club, August 20th through 23rd. Ticket information at AdventHealthChampionship.com.
The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation are teaming up with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City to recognize outstanding high school sports coaches through the Blue KC Coaches with Character program. From April to September, we'll recognize 6 coaches as a Blue KC Coach with Character. Each honoree will receive a VIP package that includes tickets to a Royals game and more. Be part of honoring our high school coaches whose service is making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. Just go to bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character to nominate today.
DQ presents Being a Miracle Maker. July 30th is Miracle or treat day. You buy a Blizzard tree at participating locations, and DQ will donate $1 or more to Children's Miracle Network to benefit your local children's hospital. DQ, happy tastes good.
Hey, it's Dusty Likens, and you know baseball's back. BetMGM, the official partner of Major League Baseball, is bringing the high heat all season long. All season long, you can log into the BetMGM app and receive top-tier promos that put you in the batter's box and up the excitement for America's pastime. Step up to the plate all season with Swing for the Fences, the free-to-play game where every swing could score you rewards. We're talking parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, same-game parlay boosts, and even bonus spins all season long. And the action doesn't stop there. Get more out of every at-bat and every inning with MLB same-game parlay boost. Stack your picks and boost your potential payout. Plus, lock in bigger value with MLB odds boost tokens and MLB parlay boost tokens all season long. More boosts, more swings, more chances to win. Download the BetMGM app and step up to the plate today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. Existing customer offers subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
All right, back here in St. Joe, Chiefs training camp. In fact, practice basically wrapped up already today. Final rookie and quarterback-only practice, a scheduled day off for Patrick Mahomes. So don't be alarmed with any tweets or videos where Mahomes is not out here. This was always scheduled. Justin Fields is still out here getting some work with a couple of the young wide receivers. But that was always planned. Pretty normal, pretty standard stuff with veterans, especially in this case when Mahomes is coming off an injury. But usually you go out there with the rookies and then you get an extra day off because they're already off tomorrow. So you double dip. Then Wednesday, full go. And don't forget, training camp coverage here presented by Yingling Flight. Football season starts here. Reach for Yingling Flight, the next generation of light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Coming up in about probably a half hour or so, Nate Taylor from ESPN will join us on site. We'll talk about the unfortunate news out of Virginia this morning, and that, of course, involves Eric Bieniemy's son and Eric Bieniemy's wife being shot by his son. As soon as Andy Reid is at the podium, JT, let us know. We will take that as well. Okay, let's head out there right now. Andy Reid talking after practice.
Here, this is our hearts go out to Eric Bieniemy and his family. Thoughts and prayers are with them. I can't get into details on it, but things happen sometimes, and Eric will work through it. He's got a great support group here, as does his family, as needed, and then we'll just let time take care of it from there. But Mia is stable, which is a plus, and so is Eric Jr., and that's all important, all right? With that, I'll open up to questions. What I can answer, I'll answer, but there'll probably be a few defers there. So.
When did you first find out about what happened?
Yesterday evening, yeah.
Andy, I know you always immerse yourself in football. Is it tougher to focus today?
Yeah, well, I tell you, I mean, listen, we all love EB, and you hate seeing these kind of things happen, but it's there's always a blessing in there somewhere, and so I know things will work out.
Coach, is there any expectation at this time when you could be back? Or?
Yeah, there's not. On these things, real life. So you take care of that, and that becomes important. Joe Blameyer is our pass game coordinator, and he'll be involved there, obviously coordinate, and as heck is the run game coordinator. So we'll be able to keep it moving here. But the most important thing is that EB, when has an opportunity to spend some time there and take care of that business.
How did the team react when they found out the news?
They're all supportive. Everybody loves EB, as you guys do. So he's a great person.
Coach, you've known, I'm sure, Mia for pretty much almost 30 years, and the kids as well. Oh, yeah. How are you doing with all this?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I do. She's a saint. We all know that. The people that know her, one of God's good blessings, right there now. Really special person. So, but things happen. Things happen, and you got to work through it. And so that's where we're at right now. And time will have to be involved in this to help heal a little bit. So, but it'll all work out in the long run.
Andy said stable condition. Is that the comforting part in all this?
Yes, I would say yes. Now, I mean, we'll see here. I mean, this is fresh, so we'll just see how things go. But the fact that she's in stable condition, I think, is a positive for what it could be.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, so that's Andy Reid with an update. Of course, was not scheduled to speak, but given the circumstances of Chiefs Offensive Coordinator Eric Bieniemy's wife being shot by their son last night, and the condition update again confirmed now by the Chiefs as well. That is, as Andy Reid was acknowledging, Cody, the only good news out of this is that she is in stable condition at this time in a Virginia hospital. That's all we know, and that's all we're going to hear for a while. And yeah, it could be a bit before Eric Bieniemy, understandably so, is back with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I mean, it's like, and I don't think it's unfair, but it's like, how are you doing is a fair question from Matt Jericho. Like, are you okay? You've known both of these people a really long time, and their children a really long time. And if you, of course, missed the story, obviously, Eric Bieniemy's wife, Mia, was shot in their home. Their son, Elijah, was charged with 3 felonies in connection to that shooting. She is currently in stable condition. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, sometimes it's just like, how do you go to work? How do you go about doing your job and all those things? And yeah, there is, of course, no timetable for when Eric Bieniemy would return, because how could you possibly know that? And so in the meantime, Joe Blameyer will do the job, and then they'll have to make and see where things go from there. But I mean, you can't. This feels like one you got to step away for a bit. I don't know how much time he's going to take away. People handle these circumstances differently. Some like to stay busy. Some like to be around family and close people. But I'm sure a lot of people around them, including Andy Reid, probably swimming a little bit with that news, because it's crazy. It's like
shocking.
Shocking to hear.
No. So our thoughts again with Eric Bieniemy and his wife Mia through the terrible incident that occurred last night there in Virginia. Nate Taylor will talk more about it with us here in about 20 minutes or so, as he was, I believe, the first to report that news earlier this morning, that, in fact, that incident had occurred in Virginia. All right, before we get to Camp Darling Island, where we will talk about some of these young players that might end up being the Camp Darling of 2026. You guys can submit a couple names as well, 913-586-7965. We will be drafting, Cody, myself, JT, a couple players apiece. Every week we'll eliminate a few, and we'll narrow it down and see if we determine the 2026 Camp Darling. Last year that was Tyquan Thornton. And some of these young players, Cody, that might be drafted by us, Cyrus Allen, Emmett Johnson, they were part of practice again today. Both of them spoke over the weekend, and they both consistently mentioned actually about the offensive coordinator and Eric Bieniemy, who we were just talking about, the part that they will certainly miss in the short term, which is that they've said the coaching and how hard the coaching is a clear difference from what they experienced at Nebraska or Cincinnati.
And look, that is what they'll be missing, but it's also a good thing for they need that, and they need more of that from their coaching staff this year, where comfortable is probably too soft of a word, Gold, like everyone just got fat and happy and comfortable, but they certainly got to a point where hard coaching didn't happen as much, and I think that Nagy gave them a little more leeway and tried to be like finesse and this style versus no, run it at them. And it's just weird because their offensive line feels like it's more built for run it at them. Be aggressive, be physical. I'm going to tell you the things you're doing wrong, and we're going to need you to take care of this stuff so that these little things, and you and I have said this before, that doesn't mean no penalties. That doesn't mean even no off-the-field stuff. It does mean that they're going to demand excellence at every turn in the sense that that was maybe the thing they lost a little bit with EB when he was gone. And obviously he'll be a part of the coaching staff. And hearing that Cyrus Allen and Emmett Johnson were already getting that version of it does absolutely stand out for one of the first couple of things we've heard from some of the rookies over this last week. And, of course, now practice is already wrapped up, so those guys are done working
and
today.
hopefully we'll have a chance to talk to
I hope so, yeah.
one, if not both, Cyrus Allen, during camp, or Emmett Johnson. We actually had Emmett Johnson on, during OTAs, I believe. He called him on the phone.
Yeah.
So we probably will have one of those guys. Other than today, we expect to have a player join us each and every day of practice, one-on-one, after they wrap up practice. Just today's, again, kind of a different day altogether, and then Wednesday, hopefully things get going in the right direction and move forward with the normal practice and everything like that. Don't forget, training camp coverage brought to you by Break Time. Whether fueling up or grabbing a snack on the way to training camp, Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app and find a location near you. All right, it is time. Some of you have submitted some names. JT, let's get to a little Camp Darling Island.
9 players arrive in St. Joe for Camp Island. Only one can take home the final prize. Who will be the Chiefs' Camp Darling?
Okay, we're going to each draft 3 players like we did last year. Now, last year, admittedly, after a weekend, I think we may have let somebody do a bonus player, but not this year. Not this year. We're sticking to it.
Sticking to the 3.
You guys can give us some suggestions. Who do you think will end up being Camp Darling 2026? And we do have to eliminate people on a weekly basis. It gets tricky because guys are going to get eliminated before we even see them in a preseason game. And some of the criteria that makes you automatically safe moving forward. If the Chiefs put out a video of you making an amazing catch or something, or social media goes crazy, you're safe.
It's correct. You score a touchdown in a preseason game.
You're safe.
You're safe.
You come up with a big interception or strip sack or something, you're safe. That's how this works. So, 913-586-7965. Let's start drafting. How are we going to determine who's going to go first this go around?
We probably just need to enter it into a random name generator. Also, JT, normally Drew would have his squad. How are you planning on drafting his squad? Are you just straight drafting it for him? Has he given you any guidance?
So I texted him, and I got a list, and I'll say there's a person on this list that I actually want to draft, so I will be taking it.
Okay.
And so I'm going to put my own little player in there at the very end because I know you two won't take him, so I'm going to take him at the end.
Wow, okay.
All right, so here we go.
You never know who I'm
We
going
got
to
the
take.
wheel
I'm taking
pulled
all
up.
kinds of random
Wheel
names.
pulled up. We'll just go from order.
Wheels up.
So
Cody, I get the first pick.
All right, Cody, JT, and myself. So within the serpentine, right? So Cody goes first.
Okay, so I'll be honest. Very tempting to just take R. Mason Thomas. He's a second-round pick. He's going to be the highest drafted guy in here. Defensive guys so rarely win Camp Darling Island, though. You got to get, the dude.
All right.
If you're getting a defensive player, so I'm afraid. I'll be honest. I am afraid to take him from Camp Darling Island. Second guy I'm going to mention before I'm giving you a lot of explanation before I
what's
mention
going
my
on
guy.
here?
Very tempted by Emmett Johnson, but I think he'll be overshadowed in camp by Ken Walker, the big off-season addition. So, in short, I'll be taking Cyrus Allen.
Okay.
Cyrus Allen with my first pick.
All right, Cody's going wide receiver Cyrus Allen.
That's my guy. What was that sound?
That didn't come across the radio.
Oh, it was a table.
That was a table.
A table fell.
JT,
Yeah,
you're up.
I'm going to
You
take.
got the second pick. Are you doing on yours or Drew's?
I'm doing Drew's.
Okay.
I'm going to take Emmett Johnson. I'm not
So you're not messing around.
I'm
You're
not
just
messing
taking a
around.
running back.
If he would have still been there for me, I would have had to take him as well. So running back Emmett Johnson. Okay, so you guys got two of the bigger names. I am going to go ahead and take R. Mason Thomas. Thank you very much.
I respect it.
Yeah, I mean, he's as a third pick, I got to go R. Mason Thomas. All right, and then I get two in a row. So R. Mason Thomas. And then I'm going to go with the guy that it's early. This is always dangerous because sometimes during rookie portion of camp, they get talked about and then they just disappear the rest of camp once the starters are out there. I think you kind of know where I'm going with this. I'm going to go – it's tricky to go with a corner, though, because – It's maybe harder for people to know.
Candidate? Because you can't take – we know you can't take Mansour.
No. I'll go Jaden Candidate, the rookie defensive back, fourth rounder, so he qualifies. So that's where I'll go for my next pick.
Okay, so you got Candidate. You got two defensive players? You got no one on offense?
I know.
And then I'm going to –
Who else was I going to take on offense, though, in fairness?
All right. I got a name.
I'm not taking an undrafted guy that might not even make the team.
I might.
This is interesting because it's on his list, and I'm going to take it because he's on his list, but I don't think he's going to be a darling. But Drew has Garrett Nussmeier on the list, so we're giving him Garrett Nussmeier.
I mean, actually, he's the third. I mean, okay. All right.
It's on his list.
He does have a big arm. And the touchdowns in a preseason game, if he doesn't get eliminated before a preseason game, which he very well might, if he makes it to a preseason game, he's going to be safe the practice after a preseason game because he'll definitely get a touchdown in a preseason game.
I just wonder, can he be Camp Darling if he's ended up being third on the depth chart at quarterback?
Seems unlikely.
Okay,
he's going to have to get a lot of talk.
Cody, you got two in a row. Your final two picks.
Okay, so I got two in a row.
Yeah, you got a good spot here,
which I like
first overall.
Honestly, it's not the worst place to go. I'm so tempted to just go wide receiver. I
mean, that's easier.
And you know what? I am. I'll take Jeff Caldwell and Xavier Lloyd. And here's why I'm taking Xavier Lloyd.
Taking all the wide receivers.
He's undrafted free agent, but the reason why I'm taking Xavier Lloyd, thing that helps him in the Camp Darling thing, Missouri guy, went to MU. The Tigers fans will want to save his ass. And there's no competition at wide receiver. So after the third or fourth guy in the actual depth chart, which we'll talk about here soon, I'm wide open. They might actually get targets or actually get a chance. So the all-rookie wide receiver this year for me in Camp Darling Island, I want Jeff Caldwell, I want Xavier Lloyd, and then, of course, I will end up with my first pick, Cyrus Allen. All wide receivers.
So you're
for me.
banking on one of these receivers having a great camp in preseason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
So are
that's
the
it
Chiefs.
for me.
So are the Chiefs. All right, JT, your last pick. Where are you going?
So this is my pick, and I've thought about it, and I hope I still can take him because I forgot.
What's left for me to take?
I'm going to take.
It's getting bleak.
I'm going to take a person that was drafted last year. Ashton Gelati. I'm a huge. I don't know. Is he?
Well, you know what? I think that's fringe, but I think I'll allow it.
That's okay.
Because I think Jeffrey Boss is available.
Right, he has Jeffrey Boss on his list. That's why I went with.
So I think Boss is available. I think Gelati's fringe, but I think he's allowed. He only had a sack and a half. If he had 3 sacks, 4 sacks, I'd say he's undraftable. But I think at a sack and a half, he's allowed.
Well then, if we're going to play that game,
Ashton Gelati.
The problem is.
You want Bossa?
No, the problem is I have 2 defensive guys already.
Well, I went
There's
all wide
nobody
receiver,
else to take on offense.
Unless you're going to take Jaden Ott or something insane.
There's nobody. Yeah, there's nobody else to take on offense.
No.
And Brashard Smith, I'm not taking. Sorry, text line. That's who they want me to take. I'm not taking Brashard Smith. He may not make the team, and if he does, he's just a returner. I guess that could get him some pub, but this is tough. There's not a ton of guys left to take that are all that intriguing.
Xavier Lloyd's also from Blue Springs. Local kid? That always helps. If you're either from a different country or do they have some guy, some German guy we don't know about? You know? Because you and I both know that would have been won by LRZ a couple of years ago for Camp Darling Island.
Yeah. Okay.
You can go defensive player. I mean, it stinks, but it is what it is.
I'm stalling here on purpose.
You might just want to take Bossa. People love just an athlete, just an outside linebacker athlete.
If he can take Gelati, then I can take this player. Noah Williams.
Noah Williams.
Noah Williams.
I mean, he was like a
Drew's
full-time
top
starter.
List.
You think he's allowed on there?
Was Gelati not starting by the end of the year?
No.
Or no? All right, I won't pick Noah Williams. Text line.
I mean, I'd allow it, but it feels even worse than Gelati.
Okay.
I think Gelati's kind of like the
Here's
end
the
of
thing.
line.
I want to take Omar Norman Lott, but he's on the PUP list. He's going to get eliminated because he can't do anything for another week or two.
I would allow you Omar Norman Lott.
Well, yeah, but you guys are going to want to eliminate him right away because he's not playing.
Yeah, correct.
Oh,
he's going to get kicked off immediately.
Hold on. Let me grab the depth chart here. Hold on.
You got to look for somebody.
We're going further down the depth chart. That's where we're at in this draft now. I mean, that's how far
Let me
down
assist
we are.
you because Drew gave me some names. He gave me Jimmy Holiday, who's a wide receiver. He gave me Jaden Hicks.
Oh, he's not a Camp Darling. He's
Jaden Hicks.
It's like a fourth
year. He was a 17-game starter last year.
He gave me.
What is Drew's list here? He just has starters.
DeMarcado. I thought DeMarcado was a veteran.
Oh, Amari DeMarcado.
I might allow you DeMarcado. Gold, if you want to go offensive player, I'd probably let you have DeMercado.
I don't like
I like
this.
that better than Omar.
Screw it. Cody, you didn't
Owens.
take him. I'm going Jalen Royals.
Jalen Royals. He'd have been my last pick.
Boom. Jalen Royals. Jalen Royals.
Jalen Royals.
So, to sum it up, Camp Darling 2026, which we will be eliminating people every week. Cody went Cyrus Allen, Jeff Caldwell, Xavier Lloyd, all wide receivers, a couple undrafted guys mixed in as well. JT/Drew went Emmett Johnson, strong pick, Garrett Nussmeier, and Ashton Gelati.
We won't do and then you did our Mason Thomas, Candidate, and Jalen Royals. We won't do our first elimination until Friday. That feels like that we'll let him get a few practices in. We'll let him get loose a little bit. We will not eliminate the first player off of Camp Darling Island until Friday, until the eventual champ is crowned. You know,
someone
this works.
says Kenneth Walker. Guys, he's making $15 million a year. He's not he can't be a Camp Darling.
I did, yeah.
By the way, he
here.
better show up. That's not a
Camp Darling's names are Weston Dressler,
yeah,
LRZ. Last year it ended up being a guy that mattered, Tyquan Thornton. But going into camp, he was a first-round bust.
And once you win Camp Darling, you can't be back-to-back Camp Darlings. You know, so
it's
I
true.
mean, Camp Darling, you can't just say Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, Mansour Delane.
You could have gone Brenningstool. You could have gone
Karlaftis.
big, tall.
He was
tight
on our
end.
list last year, and that did not.
Oh,
go
I
well.
drafted him. It busted pretty quick.
All right, there we go. Some sort about FAU, former first-round pick, can't work.
I just Jalen Royals.
And he's on the same team. Tyquan Thor was a first-round pick, but for somebody else. That's why he qualified.
I think Jalen Royals is going to stink. Stink.
Well, you
And
hope
look,
he does because you didn't draft
Someone
him.
says,
No, I don't hope he stinks. This is the same thing. Like, just because I think someone's not going to be a good NFL player, I hope Felix Anudike-Uzomah has 20 sacks this season as Myles Garrett. It doesn't, but like, what I actually think is going to happen, he's going to have like a sack and a half, and Jalen Royals is going to have 127 yards this year.
Someone says, what if they get eliminated and dominate? That's the risk. That's the risk. Last year, we did have to add one person back in. You know, it's a reality TV show. They bring people back.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have never watched
the.
The Bachelor or any of these other reality shows. Randomly, someone ends up back on the show for some reason. So if something crazy happens, they might get invited back on the island. But for the most part, and you only get to do that one time, by the way, too.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. Someone said Junior Hemingway. Yeah. So we
Not Kenneth Walker.
we know who the Camp Darlings names are. For the
Jared Wiley is around, but I'll just tell you, if you had drafted him at Camp Darling Island every year for the last 4 years, he'd have been the first player eliminated. Every year he's been a Chief. I took Jared Wiley in one. He's the first player
Who did I
eliminated
take last year.
I took Wiley and Brenningstool. I took two tight ends, and it blew up in my face.
Last year I took the tall tight end, like Jaquavius Spivey or something, whatever his name was.
That is the one. He might have been. Gillenborg was somebody I had considered.
He's on the PUP list. They're not available.
But he's hurt, and I don't want to take hurt.
I will say right now, just looking at the drafted list between the three of us, Garrett Nussmeier is in the most danger of getting eliminated because he's a third-string quarterback already.
He's going to have a hard time making a name for himself by Friday.
I might have sabotaged Drew on that one, but that's okay.
Hey, he's not here to draft his own team. Risk is the risk.
But you're going back to double dipping, Cody, even after last year's fiasco with the double tight ends? Okay.
Well, because last year I didn't take a single wide receiver, and last year's clear winner was a wide receiver.
I had to pick a wide receiver. That's the only reason why I went Royals. But also, I think it's a decent pick for the last one.
No, that's a fine one for the last pick. I would have never made it, but it's fine.
That's our Camp Darling Island. Training camp coverage presented by Yingling Flight. Football season starts here. Reach for Yingling Flight, the next generation of light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Okay. We got them locked in. I like it.
I like when we're already underway, you know?
Someone was commenting on our video stream. We are still streaming even though we are up in St. Joe.
Yeah.
JT's got our figurines up. Did you see someone said, why is Cody's 3D figure on the live stream so much bigger than Alex's?
It's a different size.
What is Alex doing in his pose? I can't remember the pose. I don't know. Cody's overcompensating. I don't know what's going on.
Well, actually, if you look at the video stream, it looks like Cody's interviewing the microphone because he has a microphone in his hand.
Really should switch them so at least it looks like I'm interviewing Alex.
Yeah, I know.
Originally, the truth is that every figure I've ever had made was made with a purpose of like a skit I wanted to do with them, and it was in the middle of COVID and we were all depressed, and it was going to turn into like Ben Wyatt from Parks and Rec making his, but they all like had a purpose I think at the time, and the one on the right that was made, it was made at a different time than the original one, so it is of a different size. There's another one of me that exists somewhere, Gold, that is the same size as yours. That one's they're just different sizes.
Yeah, for a while, the story is Cody kept my figurine at his house for years and wouldn't give it to me, which was really weird.
Yeah, it is. You know what? I just found one. I forgot that they were in a closet, and I found one from previous producer Steven Serta, and friend of the show, or now enemy, depending on how you look at it, Pete Sweeney. And so, I was going to bring Pete up at some point to camp this week.
You should. One final thing on the rookies. This was a name that I think could be interesting to watch that none of us drafted. But given the position he plays, I just think it'd be really tough to win Camp Darling Island. A lot of people texting Khalil Benson. He's the tackle out of Indiana, and he got a lot of noise this offseason. I think what's tricky about him is, A, the position he plays to win this. And then in general, even take Camp Darling out of it, he's maybe best case scenario, he ends up second on the depth chart. He's not going to be the starting right tackle week 1. If Jalen Moore is healthy, Jalen Moore is going to be the right tackle week 1. Not Esapole, not Khalil Benson. Now, long-term, this Benson situation could end up being very good for them if he continues to improve, and we could be talking about him next year, Cody, being a guy that allows you to walk on Jalen Moore. That's, to me, a next-year solution, not a this year. Or he's depth, right? Somebody's going to get hurt on the offensive line at some point during the season. Who do you trust to make a spot start? Benson could end up being that guy.
Yeah, I could see that. He didn't make the list, unfortunately, so he can't be Camp Darling unless he's a mystery guest arrives to the house. Do you know who I tried to reach out to for this? Was Ian Sterling. He's the voice of Love Island US and UK. If you've ever watched it, he's like the narrator.
Dude, so good.
Trying so hard to get Ian Sterling on the show for Camp Darling Island, JT. And still actively trying. I want to make that clear.
Has he even responded to you?
No. And I've tried many avenues. But he's getting ready to start a North American tour next year. So for the first time ever, he's going to do a comedy tour in Kansas or in the U.S.
Yeah.
Why not start building an audience and say, Kansas City? I'm trying, but I don't think we're going to get Ian Sterling.
We'll see how that goes over the next couple of weeks. All right, guys, up next, we'll get to the 11 o'clock hour as we continue broadcasting live from Chiefs training camp. We'll hear a little bit what Patrick Mahomes had to say over the weekend about his return to the practice field. We'll also have Nate Taylor from ESPN join us to give us more information about the terrible news out of Virginia involving Eric Bieniemy's wife, who was shot by their son.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
We're going to try to tickle your tonsils.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Shawnee Mission Ford is under all new management, and Shawnee Mission is dealing because, look, summer's better at the lake or on a road trip or hauling a backyard project, and summer's simply better in a Ford. So if you have not shopped Shawnee Mission Ford in a while, the rules have changed in your favor. They're never going to be undersold. They're going to always make you feel like family. In fact, if you bring them any written offer on the same vehicle, they're going to match it or beat it, period. And right now, the F-150 is even better. Get 2.9% APR plus $1,000 Ford credit bonus cash on the new 2026 F-150. That's right, only 2.9% with $1,000 of bonus cash, making the F-150 the truck you can afford this summer. You can shop them right now at ShawneeMissionFord.com. That's ShawneeMissionFord.com, just off I-35 on Shawnee Mission Parkway. And life's better in a Ford. Discover yours today at Shawnee Mission Ford. 2.9% APR with approved credit through Ford Credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Excludes Raptor. Dealer administrative fee, $7.99. Price match applies to a valid written offer from a licensed dealer on an identical in-stock vehicle with comparable mileage and the same trade valuation. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circus Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. Dane Hughes here, and for everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circus Sports app. Then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circus Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Kansas City is buzzing this summer, and the excitement keeps rolling into August at the Advent Health Championship, Kansas City's only professional golf tournament, August 20th through 23rd at Blue Hills Country Club. Watch the next generation of PGA Tour stars compete for their shot at the big stage. Follow your favorite player, enjoy the action from greenside, or upgrade to an all-inclusive hospitality experience. With tickets starting at just $10, there's something for everyone. Keep your summer going. Get your tickets today at AdventHealthChampionship.com.
Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Men, if your energy is down, your workouts aren't producing results, you're gaining stubborn weight, losing muscle, sleeping poorly, or just not feeling like yourself anymore, it may be more than just aging. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. Our low T and body composition treatments are designed to help men regain energy, improve focus, sleep better, build lean muscle, reduce unwanted fat, and restore confidence both in and out of the gym. At Heartland Men's Health, we specialize in helping men optimize their health, performance, and vitality. Using personalized medical treatments tailored to your health and goals, many men begin noticing improvements in energy, mental clarity, recovery, motivation, libido, and overall body composition within just a few weeks. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, PSA and T-test, and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived, and you can trade the entire tournament on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every match from the opening rounds all the way to the final. Last week, Spain was trading at 17% to win it all, meaning a $100 trade could pay out $572 if they win soccer's biggest prize. Want to know what they're at today? Check Kalshi. On Kalshi, you're trading against other people in a live market. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code PITCH to get a $10 credit when you trade $10. Kalshi, Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 plus only, must be present in state where it is legal to trade. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, value, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. $10 free credit with no expiration. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory.
Go to 965thefan.com for your chance to win Kansas City Chiefs scratch tickets, plus a chance for the grand prize Chiefs bundle, which includes a framed jersey and a signed photo. All thanks to our friends at the Kansas Lottery.
Hey, it's Carter Jensen, and this is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
10 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. We are live up in St. Joe. Practice wrapped up about a good half hour or so ago. No practice tomorrow. Then we're back here on Wednesday. That's when the vets are up here again today. Patrick Mahomes scheduled vet day off, so no surprise there, but he wasn't out on the practice field. And don't forget, our training camp coverage is presented by Break Time. Whether you're fueling up or grabbing a snack on the way to training camp, Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app and find a location near you. We will get to the trash of the day in about 20 minutes or so, but let's welcome in our friend Nate Taylor from ESPN. We can get to some camp stuff in a second, but obviously the news of the day, the unfortunate news that you reported this morning initially around Eric Bieniemy and his wife Mia, although we're glad to say the Chiefs confirmed it. You also reported it during practice that she is in stable condition. Just take us back, if you can, as much. Go back to yesterday and how I guess we got to this point and ultimately what you know that you can share.
Yeah, based on the Sheriff's Department in Virginia, the shooting we are led to believe happened around 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. here. Deputies arrived at the scene, I believe, in the statement from the spokesperson, said they arrived at 7:32 p.m. We don't have a ton of information what happened, how things were assessed. I have no idea, ladies and gentlemen, how this shooting occurred or why this shooting happened between Mia Bieniemy, the wife of offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, and their son, I should say, Elijah, being arrested as the one suspect in this shooting. And I reported it a little bit ago that, she is in stable condition at a local hospital in Virginia. And from my sources, she was shot not only multiple times, but in the chest and in the arm.
Ooh.
So, when I became aware of this, I want to say like around 9 o'clock last night.
So pretty soon after.
Yes, and the team was aware of it pretty soon after, as you can imagine. I feel awful. When you learn of something of this significance, it's our job as reporters to find what is accurate and obviously check in with a bunch of people. The Sheriff's Department has put out a statement of all the charges for Elijah Bieniemy, who's 27. There was some concern last night of just how old are Eric and Mia's children, because they have 2 sons. And, he wasn't officially booked last night, so that led to a little bit of confusion as to like, okay, I was starting to hear, was it a family-involved shooting? Okay, well, what does that mean? And then also, we don't have anything in terms of documentation of someone being arrested or being booked last night. Now, this is a very sensitive news story. It's incredibly sad, and it was made clear to me last night that Eric Bieniemy was not going to be at today's practice. For the thoroughness of it all, you have to wait until we actually drive up here and we see that he's not here at practice to let the public know. And as Andy Reid just said, whatever it was 20 minutes ago, we have no idea when Eric Bieniemy is going to be back with the team, because from what I'm hearing, this could be a pretty significant road to recovery for Mia, who was, as wild as this is to say, accurately, she was shot multiple times by her own son.
Do we think that there's a chance that Bieniemy just takes the year off?
I don't know. I mean, I guess
at this point it's just like all plausible.
Anything is plausible at this point. I mean, I can't. And again, like, sometimes you hear tips, sometimes you get a tip, sometimes you start talking within your own company. So in that case, it's obviously I work for ESPN, so you got to get the news department on it. We have an entire investigative team. We have a lot of resources that we can sort of enact pretty quickly, even if it's on a Sunday night in late July and you're not necessarily anticipating something of this magnitude occurring. But I learned of this sitting on the couch with Holly, my wife, and then trying to explain to her, okay, well, this is what I'm hearing. Okay, these are the things that I'm seeing. I don't know what's true or if this is just hearsay, but obviously I got to drop everything and go seek out, accurate information as to what is going on. I mean, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I am completely speculating, so let's be clear on that. Do I expect Eric Bieniemy to be in St. Joseph? No. I can't.
I mean, I wouldn't anticipate it, but also I don't know. Who knows?
But you don't know.
Handle these circumstances all very different.
Yes. But again, where she was shot, and at least we know less than 24 hours that she is stable. That's about as good news as you could imagine or that you could hope for, based on my understanding of talking to a number of people involved in this. But this is also, as Andy Reid said, a family matter, and that's where it gets even more complex because his son was charged. What was it? 3 charges, I believe. We can we can get to the
3 charges.
Yeah, we can get to the specifics here in a minute, but he's facing 3 significant charges for this family-related shooting in their own home. So there are a number of factors that would lead to anyone, let alone Eric Bieniemy or just
Yeah,
the average American worker, okay, I got to take significant time away from my job.
Yeah. Again, the charges from the Loudoun County, Virginia Sheriff's Office. Elijah Bienemy was arrested, charged with malicious wounding, use of a firearm, and commission of a felony, and discharge of a firearm inside of a dwelling. Just a terrible, terrible story and situation. Our thoughts with EB and his family moving forward. We've got Nate Taylor from ESPN joining us. If there's no way to transition away from that into football, it seems silly. I understand that.
Yes.
But here we are at training camp, and today and the last couple days, it's just been rookies and quarterbacks, although, again, today, a vet day off for Patrick Mahomes. We did our Camp Darling draft that we do every year, okay?
Right,
So we just drafted I want to run these by you and see. I'm curious, actually, who you would list as your number one, but we did a draft. Cody had the first pick.
Okay.
And he went with Cyrus Allen, then eventually Jeff Caldwell and Xavier Lloyd. So he went all wide receivers for Camp Darling. Last year, Taekwon Thornton, of course, was the Camp Darling.
He was probably the biggest winner.
Yes,
you could
he
say
did.
last
he
year.
was a runaway.
Yeah.
Yes. JT, who's filling in for Drew drafted Emmett Johnson, Garrett Nussmeier, and Ashton Gelati. We let Gelati in. We let him in.
Why?
Because I had an issue with it.
Technically, he's your projected starting.
Thank you.
He only had a
defensive end.
sack and a half, though.
Thank you.
Opposite
He's
of
a
George
starter,
He's a
though.
starter.
Also, if he was a starter or wide receiver, I probably wouldn't have allowed him. That's hard to be Camp Darling at defensive end.
True.
Once he went Gelati, I said, well, can I go Noel Williams? And they said no. So my draft was R. Mason Thomas with my first pick, candidate, the corner, and then Jalen Royals.
Okay, yeah, those are all fair. Out of the list you said, I think Kennedy has a chance to really be a darling. Now, Cyrus Allen did have a nice touchdown reception in 7-on-7 red zone yesterday in the back of the end zone where you could tell, hey, at least he's on time with Patrick Mahomes, and at least he understands where the void was in the zone coverage. So that's a good positive for him. I know we didn't do the top draft pick, so we are removing him from the discussion.
You can't take Delane. You can't take Peter Woods.
Okay, because I think Peter Woods, I would encourage people just to.
He moves for a guy his size. It's impressive.
Yeah, if you can come to a training camp practice here, coming soon when they're in the pads and it's as close to football as we all enjoy watching during training camp, Peter Woods might jump off the page. In terms of the other names.
What about the wide receivers? How about that? Royals, Cyrus Allen, as you already mentioned, and then anybody else? And I know you we're going to talk about it in the Chiefs Red Half Hour, but I think on your podcast you guys were talking about the fourth wide receiver spot.
Yes.
Nico Remigio's not here yet. He's
correct.
He's also been around for 4 decades at this point. He can't be a Camp Darling.
But do you think one of these young? Yeah, not for a Camp Darling, but I just mean, do you think one of the names we mentioned can win the not the third spot, but the fourth spot?
Yeah, that's the real. Competition of it all. There's definitely a possibility that, who knows, if you find yourself continuing to make plays for Patrick Mahomes early in training camp, he will go back to you. And so you'll have the opportunity, whoever that is. Now, he has the most experience, chemistry with Nico Remigio. They're very good friends, so I would give him a clear distance in terms of the starting position when everything gets kicked off here on Wednesday. I think Cyrus Allen probably has a little bit more of a chance to do it because, again, this is what I've seen so far. Jalen Royals to me is a mystery because
mystery's bad this time of year. You want your name known.
They didn't utilize him last year. I don't know what his translatable traits are. Like if you could, I want people to really think about this. What is Jalen Royals best at in the NFL?
None of us know.
Thank you. So until
it ain't speed.
And until I can see that, I just don't know. Now he's got a new receivers coach in Chad O'Shea. We would have hoped, and again, this was where it gets really complicated and all. But man, training camp is about building towards something and having real relationships and building continuity and team camaraderie and what does the coaching staff want? Well, a big component of the coaching staff is Eric Bieniemy. I thought Eric Bieniemy was one of the most important people for this training camp because he was going to try to really get guys to be more disciplined, more consistent, getting a, and even Andy Reid has said this, back to a place of true fundamentals. You cannot be great until we get the fundamentals right. Well, the best place to get fundamentals right is in training camp. How do you get out of the huddle? Do you know your position? Okay, how do you read the defense? What does a quarterback want? Okay, when we get this coverage, what's the answer? All those things, now all of those duties will be passed over to Joe Blameyer, who will be taking over Eric Bieniemy's duties for the foreseeable until we're told otherwise, until he decides to return. But I would love to know what the plan is for Jalen Royals. I can't tell you definitively what the plan is, because he might, from a position frame body work, be more of a slot guy. So do you shadow him with Rashee Rice in mind?
His best case scenario, he's like Juju Smith-Schuster.
I guess, but Juju was a really good route runner when he came into the league. And again, I can't say that right now about Jalen Royals. And so how much time are you going to give Jalen Royals before you got to decide, hey, here are our 4 to 5 guys for Mahomes, and we really got to take this, we really got to carry this from this day forth on. You can't spend all the time sort of developing, a rookie or a second-year player, but I at least know from a draft standpoint and what I've seen today, or 2 days, I should say 3 now, what Cyrus Allens is capable of, and knowing that Nico Remigio is your guy with some wiggle in the slot compared to, an Xavier Worthy as a speed threat up the middle, or the zone buster, the guy who's really going to be connected with Mahomes the way Rashee Rice is coming out of the slot alongside Travis Kelce.
What's the internal? This is you usually spend time talking about the guy who gets cut. Blameyer's 43, or 44. He's like mid 40s or whatever it is. What's the internal say on him? What kind of coach is he? Is he more like an Aggie, a tactician? Is he a hard ass? What? What I'm saying? What's his general reputation? I guess. Seeing how we're gonna get. We're gonna hear from Joe Blameyer more here in the.
Yeah, that's true. God, you're just coming to more. You're realizing things.
There's ripple effects.
Yeah, in real time here, because I hadn't even thought about that. I've talked to Blameyer a ton. Enjoy him. He really came up with the rise of, and this name hopefully will sound, this name will be recognized to people, even though he's been away from the team for years. But he kind of rose alongside Mike Kafka.
Okay.
Honestly,
because he was under wide receivers coach and passing. He's passing game coordinator now, right?
Yes. So he's been working with.
He's been with the team for a few years.
So think of it this way: if you're grooming someone, right, to be something further in their NFL career, given where they are right now and the age and who they've worked under, Joe Blameyer's worked under Andy Reid. Obviously, that's a positive. He's worked before with Eric Bieniemy. He's worked before with Greg Lewis, who used to be the receivers coach that he was under. Then he obviously took over at receiver once Greg Lewis left. He's been with Kafka. They were one of the guys who was really, I think, around that 2020 season was really their thing was designing big plays downfield.
Yeah.
And getting Mahomes to see it and feel comfortable with it, and the aggressors, they were the young guys drawing up aggressive shots, and it was obviously Andy and Eric, how do we match this to the overall scheme so that it looks and it feels consistent to what we're telling the players on a week-to-week basis. And then obviously over time, now with the pass game coordinatorship, which really began around, I want to say that 2024 season really came into fruition, he's taking over the entire pass game offense. Obviously he understands what Andy's looking for.
Based on what I can see, he was the pass game coordinator starting in 2023.
2023, but 2024 is where I really felt like he started to imprint some identity on the offense himself, along with Matt Nagy, Andy Reid, and again, he's been
with the team since 2016.
Yeah, he's been here the whole. I was just about to say this. He's been here the whole time with Mahomes, so he has a really good understanding of okay, where are we trying to push Mahomes? Where is Mahomes most comfortable with? Okay, it used to be. Here, hey guys, here's what the quarterback's saying as the receivers coach. Do what the quarterback says, or see what he's seen.
Not your job.
Versus now, getting more scheme based, and so what's fascinating is he's gonna have to go from scheme guy and mirroring it up or stitching it up, right? If you're a sewer, we got to get these things to look nicely. We got to make the dress look nice.
Yeah.
But it can't all be the same. But it's all got to make sense. To now you're being the guy who's that's the wrong hand placement. You should be here, not here. You should actually be a little closer to the hash marks or to the sideline.
But he should have full working knowledge of the offense.
Correct.
It's just
correct.
But everybody, this. This was the thing. And look, it's easy to say when people leave. But the whole thing after Nagy left was, and the reason why they wanted to go back to EB, and this isn't saying they think Matt Nagy was bad at his job, but Matt Nagy he's a thinker. Right, he's we'll find a way to manipulate the system inside the system. Not, I'll just make you work harder to win. He that's the way they were talking about. He's the angle. I'll find the angle not I'll like yell at you for 45 minutes on the football field and make your ass work harder.
Right, but the habits, lead to what you do on Sundays, and that's why Eric Bieniemy's voice and his run game concepts
are big.
That were supposed to match up with the pass game and most notably play action based stuff that Blaemeyer's been around. Obviously, Joe Girardi, the quarterback's coach. Obviously, Mahomes, Andy. You're supposed to be the one that's like. Again, this is a very complex operation. It's not usually just one person taking over everything. But again, everybody has to fill their role, and now it's slightly different because someone's not here.
Let's say it's no training camp. Do you try to impart your own plan or just execute the plan
You have to execute the plan that was presented.
It's
the same conversation we had earlier about.
So tough.
It's going to be tough because it's not your voice and it's not what people were expecting.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to do two jobs in one. And ask anybody in America who works at a job of, pretty good significance or hierarchy or regimentation.
Someone leaves the business, you got to do their job and your job. It's not fun.
That's not easy, kids. And I don't know if you know this, guys, but they play football games, and that's less than 2 months. So you don't have time on your hands either. They've had all the installs ready to go, right? For like people who are wondering, well, okay, how is this all going to mature and develop over time?
That's done.
Well, they've already had the offense, but there's got to be teaching points, and then you got to see it on the field, and then you do a little bit of experimentation, or to your Matt Nagy point, there's a little bit of tinkering here and there because maybe the player doesn't feel comfortable with what we've put on the board.
Mahomes might say, no, I don't like it this way, I want it that way, or Ken Walker might say,
so we're polishing. We're polishing, we're sort of editing, we're sort of like, blending more ideas together, but the actual installs, the protection plans, the route concepts downfield, those have already kind of been in place, but none of us have seen it yet. And now Blaemeyer's got to teach it, not the exact same way as Eric Bieniemy, because he's a totally different person. He's his own. But you got to have the same message, and you still got to make the fundamentals, the running blocking schemes, the angles, the how do you get out of your breaks, how do you get on the timing of the quarterback, how do you hear the quarterback's message in the huddle, and then go out and execute it. All those things are still extremely important this time of the year when you are starting training camp literally less than 48 hours from now.
That's a conversation we had earlier today about Kyle Shanahan as well, where he's not going to be around. It's the same scenario, just in terms of what does that mean for their offense. He's the play caller as well in that circumstance. But we got Nate Taylor from ESPN joining us. All right, before we let you go, we haven't even asked you about Patrick Mahomes, of course, with everything else going on. So just the fact that he's been out here. I know he wasn't out here today. That was expected, but he's been out here. We played some audio from Chase Daniel earlier today.
Oh, okay.
Where he said he could tell Mahomes is still kind of favoring. He said babying is the word he used. His left knee there a little bit, although we've seen him roll out to the left. What do you make of what Mahomes also said over the weekend, talking about maybe admitting he needs to run a little bit less?
Well, he does. He needs to, it's so funny. Like, you have to protect yourself from yourself in a sense.
Last year he got out of control.
Yeah, but that was circumstantial, and that was defiance. And in a lot of ways, that was like, you know what? I guess I've got to drag these guys across the goal line myself. And he did. And I want to remind people, he did that opening night in Sao Paulo. He woke up in the third quarter and said, you know what? I guess I'm gonna just have to run. Because.
It seemed early.
It was. He started running over guys. He spent the first 2 games of the season really demonstrating that, like, I will run you over. I'm not afraid to, like, use the sideline. Okay, I've heard these people say I use the sideline to my benefit, and I'm a quarterback, and I'll get those extra yards because I know you'll be a little bit hesitant. What if I just run through your chest? Well, he can't do that the first 2 weeks this year against the Broncos and the Colts. So he's going to have to protect himself. The fascinating part about the babying that you mentioned, Alex, is I think Mahomes knows that.
Another month at least.
It's July 25th. I ain't gotta do anything crazy. Like, I'm just trying to get into my own rhythm, my own tempo.
How much better or healthier can he get in the next 7 weeks?
Ooh, from what I'm told, based on the progress he's made from December to now, quite a bit. Okay. And you're gonna need it to be quite a bit to be ready to go, to be ready to take on contact.
That leg still looks skinny.
Everybody says that, but
is it the angle? Is it an optical?
He never had like.
Thank you.
He never had massive legs.
Yeah, I'm like, guys, have you seen Lamar Jackson's legs? Lamar Jackson's legs are not statuesque, but they're they're so dynamic.
Can't all have Brett Veach calves, you know?
Right, yeah. So, yeah.
If he's listening for some reason, he'll appreciate the shout out.
Yeah, like, you know, there's ways to play this sport, guys. The arm. Does he have the arm? Is he still accurate?
Yeah.
Does he still doing proper footwork? Can he work under center? That's what I'm fascinated by is, okay, in a couple days, we're going to see. Now, this won't be without pads, but eventually we'll get to pads. But, like, when it's real 11 on 11 and it's real, like, first team offense versus first team defense, and there are bodies around the pocket, I want to see how he moves within the pocket. That's what he's talked about most is, like, I got to be quicker decisions, I got to move in the pocket, and I cannot extend plays as much as I used to because I got a brace on my left knee.
I got to be careful for a bit.
Yeah, and so
it prepares you for the second half of your career anyway. When you
correct.
Just run less anyway.
And that's what he's getting at. And he's very I thought what was football wise, one of the most interesting points that he made on Friday was the deep ball's on me, guys. Like, if you really listen to his comment, all right, I understand. I don't have the greatest receivers in the world. I understand. Maybe we didn't scheme it up the best. Guys, I got to get better at throwing the deep ball. I got to get better at seeing it, throwing it with conviction. And hitting it. Or giving, as he said, giving my receivers more of a chance on, like, 50-50 deep balls down the field. I could give a lot of blame to Xavier Worthy as to why their connection is mostly him to blame in some ways.
But there's a lot of other guys. He sends it over their head.
Yes.
He's trying to hit him in stride.
Yes. And it's great that they found something to build upon with Tyquan Thornton, but then the coaching staff wouldn't put Tyquan Thornton on the field.
Right.
So
they're not going to have a choice this year, though.
Exactly. So it's so fascinating when a great player has already come into camp identifying exactly what they got to get better at. And it's part of the weight training, nutrition, medical, flexibility, and core strengthening to get you ready to play football, where they're going to hit you hard. And you got a good offensive line in front of you. There should be no complaints as long as all those 5 guys are healthy.
Unless you're a skinny one outside of Kansas City, in which case the offensive line's trash.
Yeah, I'll be until we see calamity on September 14th. I will be the voice of reason, ladies and gentlemen. That Josh Simmons is probably going to be better than he was last year. Trey Smith had injuries. Creed Humphrey still world class. Kingsley Suamataia probably made the most improvement from the start of the season to the end of the season out of anybody on the offensive line. And then Jalen Moore is a competent NFL right tackle. That's literally what half the league would ask for right now. But when the quarterback knows exactly what he has to do, it provides clarity for him to where he knows exactly what he needs to do between now and September 14th. And if all those things are good, then that should help the rest of the offense feel confident in the fact that, okay, I'm seeing my leader do his thing. I got to make sure I'm ready to go on September 14th because his work has been constant. And I can't stress that enough. From the day he got out of the operating room, ladies and gentlemen, this is all he's been focused on.
Yeah.
Is kids, taking a little bit of time with the wife, and this. There's nothing else. Like, I think one of the things that I've learned from Patrick is, like, everybody said, well, he went to, and this was cool. He did go to the World Cup matches.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he was one of our ambassadors for Kansas City.
He went to the wedding.
Guys,
I didn't see him
day.
on nearly as many things this year.
Oh, of course. Because every day, Cody. I don't care where we flying to. We can fly to India. We gonna get this. We gonna get this rehab.
I got a workout out.
We gonna get this stretch out. We gonna get this rehab. I'm gonna throw. Like, I think he spent a lot of time throwing the football, probably more than even he anticipated in, like, February.
And I know it sounds like, Nate, I know we got to take a break in a minute. I know it sounds simple, but you and I have been, and Alex, all of us have been around enough athletes or regular people. It's like, well, don't they all just do all the exercises they're supposed to do?
Buddy.
No.
Have you met anyone in life?
They don't. They send you home that folder, and it says you got to do 40 of these things, and you're like, 40? Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
And players, too. I don't mean to
of
say
course.
that,
Yes, yeah. I mean, we're all human. Like, we're not robots, okay? So
he might be.
he's one of his best qualities that people don't talk about enough is his brain. He has a brain that allows him to be like, no, I'll do it. But like, but you're tired, sir. You're sore. do you see these 3 kids? These 3 kids are crazy. And he's like, no, I'll do it. I'll do it. And it is marvelous to really see like the impact and the dedication he has to the craft. And no one can ever say that he didn't care enough about it. As we've all said before, you got to protect him from him. And so when it comes to preseason, as I asked him, you ready to play some preseason games? I know inside he's like, yeah.
If they let me.
And the coaching staff is like, no. Maybe the training staff is like, what? So he's going to do the best he can to be as physically best as he possibly can. And he's got one of these maniacal brains like, Tom Brady. Hey, what was it like in 2009? What was it like in 2009? And Brady just tells him everything, and it just sort of refocuses him, it remotivates him, it ignites something, and okay, I'll be at the World Cup final. But you know what I'm doing before we go out there? You know what I'm doing after we get out there? Like, I'm gonna be about this work, because I need people to know that I can be an even better quarterback after this injury, and I'm doing it because it means that much to me.
Nate Taylor from ESPN, appreciate the insight on everything going on from camp today. I know we'll have you on throughout training camp, hopefully with a little more, positive dealings that we had to deal with today in the news that you initially reported this morning. Nate, appreciate it, man.
Thank you, guys.
Up next, guys, let's get to the Chiefs right after. Let's talk more about something Nate did mention with Nico Remigio, the 4th wide receiver, Cyrus Allen having the leg up perhaps there. Plus, we'll sneak in a trash of the day next year on Cody and Gold.
What's up, KC? It's Carter Jensen. You're listening to Cody and Gold on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5 The Fan.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Well, this is the time of year. It's talking season. Top 10 lists, all that other stuff in the world of football in particular. As we get ready for the beginning of the season, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Blue Chew. When it comes to performance, good enough just isn't good enough, and that's exactly why Blue Chew just raised the bar for you. Introducing Blue Chew Gold, the revolutionary 4-in-1 upgrade that targets your brain and your body. It dissolves right under your tongue, starts working in as little as 15 minutes. That means for you fellas, there's not much waiting at all whatsoever. A whole new level of readiness, and there's more confidence as well that comes from that. This is the future of performance. Faster, smarter, and precision engineered for results. You can get started today at BlueChew.com and see why millions of men trust Blue Chew. Turbocharge your love life and make it easy to get hard with Blue Chew. Make life easier and discover your options at BlueChew.com. We got a special deal for you there. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with KFNZ. That's promo code KFNZ. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety info.
The Advent Health Championship is Casey's only PGA Tour event. Whether you're a golfer or you just want to be part of the fun, family-friendly event, see the future stars of the PGA Tour at Blue Hills Country Club, August 20th through 23rd. Ticket information at adventhealthchampionship.com.
DQ presents Being a Miracle Maker. Making a difference in your community has never been easier because July 30th is Miracle Treat Day at DQ. You buy a blizzard tree at participating locations and DQ will donate $1 or more to Children's Miracle Network to benefit your local children's hospital. So on July 30th, buy a blizzard tree and be a miracle maker, a blizzard-eating hero, doing their part on Miracle Treat Day. July 30th, DQ. Happy tastes good.
It's the summer sales event at Robside Ford. Your chance to upgrade without the stress. Robside joins me now. Rob, what's the offer?
0% financing, $0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on nearly the entire Ford lineup.
That's a serious summer deal.
Sure is. And unlike your brisket last weekend, these deals aren't dry.
Okay, that's fair. These savings are definitely juicy.
And we're backing it up with 2 years of complimentary maintenance, a non-commissioned sales team, and top trade-in values.
No pressure, no gimmicks at Robside Ford. It's the way car buying should be.
We're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 Google reviews, and a better experience from start to finish.
So skip the smoke and the dry meat. This summer, start at Robside Ford.
135th and State Line or robsighc.com. 0% financing, $0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 2 years of complimentary maintenance.
Robside Ford, buy right, drive happy. And next time, maybe stick to potato salad.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this,
What if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats. And get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-329-1010. That's 1-800-329-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-329-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
For 75 years, Kansas City families have trusted Anthony for comfort, safety, and dependable service. Thank you for trusting us with your house keys. Anthony, in your home for 75 years.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Marcel Delane from the Kansas City Chiefs, and welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day at 11:30 on Cody and Gold on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
That's right. It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour live from St. Joe. Practice wrapped up about an hour or so ago. Final rookie-only practice of Chiefs training camp. Off day tomorrow. Wednesday, first full team practice. Still just going to be in the shells and everything. It'll be this weekend before they get the pads on. Coming up the noon hour, we'll obviously get back into the news around Eric Bieniemy and his wife. We had Nate Taylor on, providing some good perspective on what he heard, how it all kind of transpired in terms of yesterday. Not specific details, of course, the shooting involving his wife and son, but just how the story, frankly, came together and what it means for the Chiefs on the football side of things, which is secondary, but still, what does it mean from the football side of things? You asked him a lot about Joe Blameyer, who is going to, for now, take over. We don't know any timeline on when Eric Bieniemy could return with the team, so we'll get back into that. Don't forget, as we sit here inside our tent, training camp coverage is presented by Yingling Flight. Football season starts here. Reach for Yingling Flight, the next generation of light beer. Enjoy responsibly. I want to go back to something we were talking about with Nate. We asked him around the Camp Darling stuff.
Yeah.
And it got us into the wide receiver conversation. And he kind of said Cyrus Allen has the leg up of any of the receivers, which makes sense. But the fourth wide receiver spot, I know it's way down the depth chart. We know who number one is, right?
But fourth still plays.
Absolutely. And Tyquan Thorne's the 3. And, yeah, in this offense, the fourth wide receiver is going to get opportunities.
Tyquan was the 4th last year.
Absolutely. And so you heard Nate. He thinks there's a clear gap. Now, the gap can close in a month, but a clear gap between Nico Remigio and these other guys. And Nico's role mainly has only been return guy, and then in preseason he looks great, and then come regular season he barely gets on the field.
Yeah.
So is he ready to take on more of a workload for this team? even as the fourth receiver. Look, I'll tell you this, no offense to Nico Remigio. I think we should all hope Jalen Royals or Cyrus Allen win the job. That is way better for this team. That's
I think in the long run, that's a better sign.
That's not a shot at Nico.
Yeah.
It's just the reality of these are two guys you drafted. Nico Remigio was an undrafted guy a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And to his credit, he's found a spot on this team, in whether it's practice squad or otherwise over the years. And you spent a pick on Royals last year who couldn't see the field. You just spent a fifth-round pick on Cyrus Allen. I think it's pretty obvious. As Chiefs fans, you should be hoping one of those two guys actually develops and emerges throughout camp. And Nate believes if there was one of them to emerge, it would be Cyrus Allen over Jalen Royals because, as he said, we know nothing about Jalen Royals.
No.
Absolutely nothing.
Which I think is a horrible sign. Like, genuinely, in a staff in which what you're mentioning, Nico Remigio's got a leg up. That man has 69 career receiving yards. He's 27 years old. So, like, for him to be the obvious leader in the clubhouse, and I'm not saying some guys just don't show up. I've watched a couple of interviews when Tom Brady was talking about Julian Edelman's career and how Edelman was just some jag hanging out, almost not making the team a bunch of times. In 2010, he played in 15 games. He had 86 yards. In 2011, he had 34. Julian Edelman, at 25 years old, had 34 yards and played in 13 games. Then all of a sudden, at 27 years old, he had 1,000. And so you're like, well, that's significant and quite a change of pace from the original time around it. And so, like, that part of it, obviously, not saying Nico Remigio, that's where I do it. But here's where I'd say, and I almost like soft launch it with Nate here when he was still here. I actually think, like, more than even that, I actually think if you made me choose who has more receiving yards this year, Tyquan Thornton or Xavier Worthy, I'd answer Thornton.
What?
So
really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
you're
so,
way
like,
down on Xavier Worthy.
I'm not even so down on Worthy. I actually just think Xavier Worthy's going to have like 725 yards, and Tyquan's going to have like 850. And so I think that 1 through 3 is going to have more production than we think, more than I think Remigio's going to stranglehold wide receiver 4.
Well, I agree with that part. If you're just saying that this year the 1, 2, 3 is going to get, let's call it 85% or 80% of the yardage, I would agree with that. It's interesting, though. You're not far off on the yardage. I mean,
750,
and I also think Worthy's max, everything goes right, is like 850 himself this year. I'm a little more optimistic on him, obviously, than others. I don't think there's, other than injury, much of a scenario, though, where Tyquan Thornton is outdoing Xavier Worthy this year. And I understand how last year went, but we all know Worthy 3 plays into the season was dealing with a bad shoulder.
And they changed his route tree because of it and all the other stuff.
Tyquan Thornton's credit, Cody, he should have played a hell of a lot more than he did last year.
Oh, yeah, he should have. He only had 19 catches and 37 targets and managed 438 yards. If you double that, which is not the world, 80 targets and 40 catches, I mean, that does put him in the range of what I just said. Like, I don't think that it's out of the question that he develops into the not more consistent guy, but better. He's already or has consistently been kind of the better deep guy of the two. It should be Worthy, but it has been Tyquan. And so, look, from that sake, I obviously hope that it's not. And this is the same thing we just said. The best case scenario for the Chiefs is that if it's Xavier Worthy. Matter of fact, if you let me hand pick a wide receiver to have like a career year, it'd be Worthy. And some of that is because you and I have talked about Rashee Rice and not retaining him after the end of the year and all this other stuff. And so there is almost no circumstance in which I'm going to want them to give Rashee Rice a contract and all this other stuff. And so, I would choose Worthy to be the player who had the big step-up year. I think they had to have spent an offseason and learned a hard lesson on Tyquan, who is still a former first-round pick, maybe he's Julian Edelman, right? Forget the Nico Remigio thing. Maybe he's the guy who, because there's about one wide receiver every 5 years that goes from not super important to massively important to their team. And so I kind of feel like that's going to end up being Tyquan this year. I don't know about Remigio. He should have a chance, I guess. Why not him? Versus Allen or Armstrong
but
or
Remigio,
Caldwell.
If he wins the 4th wide receiver job, I mean, we're even in a top-tier offense, what's he going to get you, 500 yards?
Oh, Remigio? Yeah, D-Rob stuff.
And that's fine, by the way, if that's what it is. It's
just, if you get 500 yards at him, great. They need a solid 350-yard guy who can block.
I think Tyquan Thornton is in this, 600 yards. I'd take 600 yards from Tyquan Thornton right now.
Oh, I'd probably sign up for that. But I just think he's going to, and look, I guess I reserve the right. Let's call this soft launching it. I reserve the right to maybe see how training camp goes and actually see him at a damn pad before I make this. This is why it's not a topic on the show. This official declaration. But by the beginning of the season, I actually feel like I'm going to choose Tyquan Thornton to finish with more yards.
I'm sure we'll do the exercise of
biggest
over-under yardage for this entire wide receiver room and all that kind of stuff as we get closer to the season. But there's no doubt, and you heard Nate mention it, that Patrick Mahomes has to get better at throwing the deep ball. Xavier Worthy has to get better at awareness, on the sidelines. They have to get on the same page more. It was very noticeable that Tyquan Thornton and Patrick Mahomes had something in terms of a connection, and hopefully that will only continue to grow. That's why it was so refreshing to see, is because they clearly were on the same page. Footballs were not really being overthrown past Tyquan Thornton all that much. It happened all the time past Worthy, and again, that's not all on Mahomes. That's a lot on Worthy as well. They have to get on the same page for any of this to work this year.
Yeah, they do, and that's important that they manage to accomplish it. And so, the fourth wide receiver competition is actually one of the more interesting ones. It really is, because it should be Royals, and I don't think it will be. It should be Royals who has the leg up. He was a full year. He was healthy the whole year, but only managed to get on the field a couple times at the bitter end when the season was long and gone and lost. And it's been crickets from the coaching staff since then. Not great. And look, but it's so early in camp. I don't want to just write off.
Yeah, look, for starters, today it's just rookies. And even
a handful of veterans who are coming off injury.
Even Wednesday, it's the full team, which is nice, but still no pads. Until we see some of these guys in pads, even, it's very difficult to make huge assumptions. I think we all want to see more Mansour Delane. He's dealing with the shoulder injury, so he's still wearing that yellow non-contact injury. Hard to get a good feel for him, but the shoulder injury, is that something that has delayed a little bit of his off-season work? And, of course, they're counting on him to be a stud. He's the 6th overall draft pick. So there's a lot of elements. This is the very early going to camp. We got a long ways to go before camp is over. It really hasn't fully started, in my opinion, yet either. And
I don't know. I killed 3 wasps today. That feels like the beginning of camp.
There's 3.
There was one that just flew right by you. What happened to it?
Well, it didn't sting me, thank goodness.
And you haven't been stung in so long? Is it because
I
pick a fight with them?
Are you trying to jinx me?
No, you just said that before. Is it because because I attack them? Is that why they get mad at me?
That might be it. You attack them. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on.
Take down their friends?
Someone on the text line says their grandma told them spreading ground cinnamon around the tent will deter the wasp. You want to bring a bunch of cinnamon tomorrow? Just pounds of cinnamon around the tent? Just have piles of cinnamon around us?
If it would work, fine.
A barrier of cinnamon.
If it's available, I would do it. Somebody says Jalen Rose wasn't healthy all season. He had some injuries. Nothing that was, out for any length of time. He played in 7 games. I don't remember him having was there a big injury for Jalen Royals?
I don't remember, honestly.
I don't think there. Maybe I'm wrong, but I guess I don't remember him having anything of significance.
People were asking about Rashee Rice. Did he show up? Remember, they don't have to yet.
Today's
the day they show up.
Late August, he was sidelined for a little bit with knee tendonitis.
Okay.
But he returned pretty much right away and then never had another injury. So I don't know. I guess maybe that could explain his slow start, in fairness, and the fact that he never had the regular part of camp in order to accomplish it. But still, it just feels slightly different outside of there. Another quarterback, by the way, I saw 20 minutes ago, Daniel Jones has officially been cleared from his torn Achilles, suffered in December. That is obviously one of the Chiefs' early season opponents. And so a guy coming off an Achilles injury and a guy coming off a serious knee injury. Dueling it out. That's a noon game, isn't it? That's not even like a fun game. Oh, no, that's a Sunday night or Monday night football game.
That's week 2, isn't it?
Yeah, they got back-to-back primetime games.
Monday night, Sunday night.
God, that's crazy. I thought that they were going to wait, man, and instead, what we got? No. Immediate stuff. You want to get to a trash today since we missed it earlier?
Let's do it.
Trash of the day.
We obviously wanted to talk to Nate Taylor, so we went ahead and bumped trash today a little bit. We'll get to it now in the Chiefs Red Half Hour. We go to China for this one, Cody, where go back actually a year. It starts a year ago, where a man was pulled over by a police car in China and arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol. Background check revealed he had been caught driving without a license while intoxicated twice before. So he was at risk of spending time behind bars because it was his 3rd offense. While out on bail, this guy decided that the risk of being issued a prison sentence was too great. He came up with an extreme plan to avoid any legal consequences. He convinced his family to assist him in faking his death and funeral so he could run away without the fear of police booking him.
Oh, God.
So in June, they set the plan in motion. They bought a coffin. They set the scene of his death. He scattered empty medicine bottles throughout his home, like a whole terrible scene here. Practice holding his breath for long periods of time. Even used cooling equipment to keep his body cold, all in an effort to make it look like he had OD'd. Even though some neighbors later told police they had seen him, his mother, and grandmother cover his face with a cloth, claiming the drugs had deformed his face. The funeral was carried out the same day, but while the coffin was being lowered in the ground, he was already gone. He had already vanished. The story did not end with the fake death. There was some loose ends police quickly picked up, like the fact that the coffin had been purchased before his death. Okay. Now, I guess if you're older...
If you're trying to bury him the same day. Yeah, older maybe, but
yeah,
not
that age. Yeah, some people have, like, if you're in your 80s, you have your plot of land maybe, and you already have... People do pick up their coffin. Like, there's people that prepay. That does happen. But not when you're 30 years old. Police later learned there was no death certificate, Cody, nor a record of his cremation, the fact that none of the neighbors had seen his face behind it. So anyway, he got apprehended recently, and he faces 5 months of criminal detention and $3,000 fine. Does that mean are they still going to get him back for the DUI, though?
I mean, I would think so. I imagine it doesn't just, resolve the issue just because he tried to completely avoid it. Like, that part would be surprising. So now he's got to get that. And what is the punishment for, holding a funeral and faking your own death? I mean, just like you didn't try to, you're avoiding the police, but if I didn't try to, get life insurance, I didn't commit any other fraud,
That's
right?
where you get the major fraud.
Other than that, I just kind of put on, a play. I mean, is it a crime if I don't
to
try
fake
to,
your own death? I think it is.
If I try to, but if I don't try to get any financial, my
don't
wife
think
doesn't
you
try to, collect Social Security, or I don't try to, get insurance money.
Someone in law enforcement can text in. I think faking your own death is a crime.
Let's see. Is it state by state, you think? Is faking... I hadn't planned on faking my own death. Death a crime.
See, our weird Google searches, one day it's going to get us because they're like, why did you Google how to do whatever? And it's going to get in trouble. It says it is not inherently a crime in the U.S. as there is no specific federal or state statute. However, it's virtually impossible to pull it off without committing numerous felonies.
Because tax evasion and a million other
things.
Yeah,
eventually you wouldn't be paying taxes. So
yep, that's a good point. So you're not committing a crime by just faking your death, but essentially all the crimes you'll have to commit after faking your death essentially make it impossible. All right, fair enough. Or if you cause harm. I imagine if it caused a big incident.
If this guy was not in China and he was driving in Wisconsin, he wouldn't have needed to do this.
Yeah, that's a misdemeanor or whatever we learned last week in the Tony Romo case.
Just a citation for Tony Romo.
Big old wasp on your microphone cable. Why are there always so many wasps up here?
Okay. Yep. This there is.
It just continues to land on Alex's headphone cable, but it's too. Why are you clapping it near me? Oh, it just landed right back again.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
It smells the scent of you killing the wasp. This is a annual tradition at training camp. Us freaked out by the wasps, and it's not because there's just one. There's usually 10 of them, and we've already killed 3. So.
Yeah. 3 down, JT.
Cody's standing up now.
More to go. Oh, I'm looking for my moment now. I'm serious. I got to eliminate as many of these things as I can before.
They're just going to keep coming back. You're wasting your time, I think.
Well, I don't want to get stung by this one that keeps hovering near us.
Well, don't mow your yard during camp this year, and you won't get stung. That's what happened last year.
That sucked so bad. I hope that doesn't happen. That sucked so bad.
That is the trash of the day.
JT, did you give Drew on vacation a report back for his Camp Darling Island team?
I have not.
For those who missed
Don't bug Drew. He's on the beach somewhere.
I was
now he's in Outer Banks. Have you seen the story about the Outer Banks? Like the coastline, these houses keep falling in the ocean and stuff.
Yeah,
it's bad.
It's pretty bad.
But I don't know how close if their timeshare is right on the water or what. I don't know.
Somebody misplaced the sled. By the way, it went right into the back of the sled.
Yeah, it happened over here too. You're talking about the water.
Yeah, not watering the grass very well. No, you didn't give him a report back?
I have not.
You don't want to bother him on vacation?
No, I don't want to bother him on vacation. Just like when I got a text this morning at 9 o'clock from Mac, I was like, dude, aren't you on your honeymoon? What are you doing?
Isn't he in Hawaii?
He's not in Hawaii yet. He said he was about to get on the plane. But I was like, dude, me and Nathan got you covered for this week and next week because Nathan's got him this week up until Friday, and then I've got him next week while he's still gone.
Yeah.
He's just like, you guys got it under control. I'm like, Mac, we've got this under control. We've worked.
And who cares if you don't? You know,
you're on your
enjoy
honeymoon.
Hawaii.
Yeah. Congrats to the Morris on getting married over the weekend, and now enjoy Hawaii. That sounds awesome.
They're giving him a hard time on the morning show because he had an outdoor July wedding.
It was outdoors?
Yeah, it was outdoors on Saturday.
Woo!
That's hot.
Saturday was hot, too. I say that as I sit at training camp with a cooling towel around my neck.
Yeah, I'll grab the cooling towel at some point. Not yet. We're almost there.
You haven't quite
Do you guys
caved
bring
yet?
your own cooling towels? Or
yeah.
do they provide it?
We're camp vets at this point. We got coolers.
I brought
two.
Yeah. I borrowed my kids' little mini fans they have in the car when we go on long road trips, JT, so I have a little tabletop fan. I'm not messing. The heat index is 115
I feel like you're wearing so Cody's in a nice polo. Nothing wrong with the polo itself, but for today,
it's a button down.
Button up, but it's I'm not gonna reach and touch your shirt, but it's
it's very breathable.
Okay, it looks like it's heavy cotton or
very very breathable.
Okay, from far away it looks like you're wearing like a heavy cotton shirt. I'm like, what are you doing?
Quite breathable.
Okay, all right. I was like, that was a bad choice, but all right.
No, I've got a couple of other button downs that are like more linen. I was like, I'm just going to show every drop of sweat on those things. Yours still pretty
I'm just
dry.
in our gray station T-shirt today.
We don't have to sit out in the sun at least,
Someone says misting fans? No,
not that far.
Again,
Although I'm always surprised camp doesn't have that up here.
Yeah, and there's plenty of you listening outside right now that are working and putting on a roof or putting down asphalt or whatever, sweating your butts off. So I respect the hell out of that. We only have to deal with it for 3 weeks, and it's not the best, but we'll be fine. We'll make it through. Some people have to do this, Cody, year-round, man. Year-round outside.
Oh, I know. People have to. So
HVAC techs that are out there.
And this is a tough week. It's a good thing I just got my HVAC replaced. That way it's nice and cool in my house.
I feel like any house is still struggling with this weather to keep cool.
Really what's going to be the struggle is when I get the electric bill.
Yeah, well.
Although I'm on level pay, so I guess it won't be too bad.
Oh, it balances out then.
Yeah, I pay the same amount as winter, and I pay both that and gas on level pay.
People wondering, real quick, then we'll get to what's trending. The backpack you brought, if that's your daughter's backpack that you haven't got her new one in 6 years of doing the show, or
no, but big news in that department.
Oh, finally!
So my daughter had asked for a new backpack again this year, and we found some online and showed her.
About time.
And maybe we just caught her on a different day or whatever, and she's like, "Can I choose my red one?" So she doesn't want a new backpack yet. So, red one lives.
I can't believe it.
But she is beginning. Well, we said middle school. 6th grade, she can get a new one.
I need a new backpack.
If she really wanted a new backpack, I would get her one today. But she said, "Can I still use my red one?" And if she still wants to use that backpack,
good still, or is it beat
yes,
up?
it's in great shape. We clean it and all that stuff. We wash them a couple times a year. We make sure they're taken care of. It's a good quality. Honestly, credit to the unpaid endorsement from this company. It's from LL Bean. That thing's held up. Fine backpack. Stitching is nice.
Our training camp coverage is brought to you by Break Time. Whether fueling up, grabbing a snack on the way to training camp here in St. Joe, Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app and find a location near you. Up next, we'll get to what's trending. We'll also talk more about Kyle Shanahan and his car wreck that has him out of camp, and we will continue to update you if there's any new information on Eric Bieniemy and the family situation that has unfortunately become the story of the day.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
Men, erectile dysfunction can affect much more than just your sex life. It can create stress in relationships, leading to feelings of anxiety or embarrassment, and impact your overall confidence and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and we specialize in treating men's sexual health issues to help men find solutions that fit their individual needs. ED is a frustrating condition, and many men suffer for years without seeking treatment. But the good news is that if you're like most men, we have the answer. Our licensed medical providers will evaluate your specific medical situation and recommend a plan designed for you. And these advanced medical therapies work, with treatments having success rates of well over 90%, which means you and the one you love can have great sex again without the fear and worry of ED. You can even last up to an hour or more, and you may just find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Dusty Likens, and you know baseball's back. BetMGM, the official partner of Major League Baseball, is bringing the high heat all season long. All season long, you can log into the BetMGM app and receive top-tier promos that put you in the batter's box and up the excitement for America's pastime. Step up to the plate all season with Swing for the Fences, the free-to-play game where every swing could score you rewards. We're talking parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, same-game parlay boosts, and even bonus spins all season long. And the action doesn't stop there. Get more out of every at-bat and every inning with MLB same-game parlay boost. Stack your picks and boost your potential payout. Plus, lock in bigger value with MLB odds boost tokens and MLB parlay boost tokens all season long. More boosts, more swings, more chances to win. Download the BetMGM app and step up to the plate today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. Existing customer offers subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids Max Strength. Its dual-active formula has 1,500 milligrams of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaids spells powerful relief. 1,500 milligrams is our highest amount of antacid per tablet. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where supplies start at just 25 cents?
Staples has the latest laptops with up to 40% savings.
I may hug the cashier.
So embarrassing.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples with up to 40% off select tech. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay. Are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor, and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
Go to 965thefan.com for your chance to win Kansas City Chiefs scratch tickets, plus a chance for the grand prize Chiefs bundle, which includes a framed jersey and a signed photo. All thanks to our friends at the Kansas Lottery. Cody and Gold are live from the practice field at Chiefs training camp this summer on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Number one on What's Trending, we are up in St. Joe, our first of many shows from Chiefs training camp. Rookies and quarterbacks practice today. Patrick Mahomes did have a veteran off day. They're off tomorrow, and then Wednesday is the first full team practice of camp, and we will be up here on Wednesday and should have a player join us each and every day going forward after practice. Unfortunately, the headline today from camp is terrible news that nobody ever wants to be discussing, and certainly not the news anybody ever wants to get a phone call about. And that was reports earlier today, and that's now it's been confirmed by Loudoun County, Virginia Sheriff's Office. Shooting occurring at the home of Eric Bieniemy last night up in Virginia around 7:30. Deputies responded to a report of a shooting. They located who we now know was Eric Bieniemy's wife, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. She was transported to a nearby hospital. Andy Reid confirmed after practice that she is in stable condition, his wife Mia. So that, of course, in this terrible, terrible story is the only positive update today is that she's stable. We also later would learn that Elijah Bieniemy, one of the sons of Eric Bieniemy, has been arrested and charged with malicious wounding, use of a firearm and commission of a felony, and discharge of a firearm inside of a dwelling. He was transported to the Loudoun County Adult Detention Center where he's being held without bond.
Next up on What's Trending, the Royals, winners of 7 of 10 after beating the Tigers in a series last night. Now, I will say, the playing better baseball, what's probably more important is you want to try to get the Tigers losing just enough so that they're like, all right, fine, get Scooble the hell out of here, because that has not consistently been the case. So they're trying to figure out what happens next on the Tigers front as they continue to do that. Alex, that wasp has been on your cord the entire time, by the way. It's just so funny as we continue to do it. But the Royals are playing slightly better baseball here lately. Winners of 7 of 10, and of course another one last night. Oh, you! I'm sorry. Alex tried to use a Gatorade bottle to smash a wasp. He got it underneath the bottle, but it's too concave, and so the second he lifted it up, the wasp flew away.
Elsewhere on What's Trending, Jacoby Brissett has a new deal with the Arizona Cardinals. Remember, Jacoby Brissett was kind of semi-holding out this offseason. He now has a rework guaranteed $15.5 million deal. Remember, they have Gardner Minshew in their quarterback room along with their draft pick Carson Beck. But Jacoby Brissett, effective last year, I guess is what we'll call it. He has a chance to make $21 million this year. He is actually taking reps at training camp for the first time this year. He was in the second year of a 2-year deal, but he had skipped the voluntary OTAs and had a hold in during mandatory minicamp. But that is resolved for a Cardinals team that could be the worst team in football this year.
Very well could be. Next up on What's Trending, North Carolina football general manager Michael Lombardi, who's the top aide for Bill Belichick and enemy of this show, has been placed on paid administrative leave by the university. They announced it on Monday that it is effective immediate, but did not disclose any other details. The school's decision stems from a human resources complaint filed by a former front office employee. That, according to Pete Thamel, there is a pending investigation into the matter, and they are continuing to look up to it. But at the moment, Michael Lombardi has been placed on administrative leave immediately as a part of that decision. You might remember, Michael Lombardi was the guy who came on our show, was on for 60 seconds, said he had to go host a podcast, hung up, and then we said he was banned from ever being on the show again. We spent the majority of the time he wasn't there to be interviewed, joking about how quickly he left our show.
Yeah, that was one of the stranger ones we've had. It's been 3 years at least, maybe 4, since that incident actually occurred. By the way, the decision to put Lombardi on administrative leave was made by North Carolina administration, not Bill Belichick. So this went above.
Oh yeah, shocker.
This went above his head as well.
That's how it works in college.
Good. That is What's Trending, by the way, here on Cody and Gold. Don't forget, our training camp coverage is presented by Yingling Flight. Football season starts here. Reach for Yingling Flight, the next generation of light beer. Enjoy it responsibly. JT's going to have some camp questions for us here in about 10 minutes or so. We'll find out what questions he has. We'll try to answer those as we are live up in St. Joe. We also will play you some of what Nate Taylor had to say coming up again in the 1 o'clock hour. He gave us a great breakdown of the awful situation in Virginia.
He's the one who had broken the story this morning.
Yeah, involving Eric Bieniemy and the whole Bieniemy family, frankly. But his wife, who was shot, last night by their own son. Just terrible circumstance. We'll get back into that terrible story a little bit later on. The other story involving a coach on a completely different level, but still at the time was viewed as the story in the NFL, was around Kyle Shanahan on Saturday.
Yeah.
Where we learned that he suffered serious injuries in a car accident, and he is not available for their training camp. And it was a car wreck that occurred on the 14th up in California, and police have already said there was no drunk driving, there was no texting while driving.
Just an accident.
The driver of the other vehicle is doing fine as well. Kyle Shanahan is expected to make a full recovery, but he's still experiencing severe concussion symptoms, which is why he's not available. The other layer to this that has caused people to be questioning it more has been the fact that reportedly there were riders on the beat
who knew for a couple weeks.
Who knew for at least a week, yeah, that this had occurred, and yet the Niners and the news did not break until their first day of camp.
I guess a lot of this is, and I don't know, it's so tough because if you've ever been around like a media circumstance, like Nate, right? Nate just got the story on this, and it is your job to report factual information. That is a factual information. I don't know why you'd want to keep this quiet. Unless you did something wrong, what's the point of covering this one up? Like, hey, nobody say anything about Kyle Shanahan being hurt. Why? Why are we all sworn to secrecy on this one? It's a car accident, right? It's normal. Why is that the case? Just to respect his privacy? And I understand, like, that part of it. But I also, we get too far into the weeds on that for someone who's an accepted public figure who makes tens of millions of dollars. Like, it's not you have to and do lose some privacy in accepting those terms and becoming the head coach of an NFL football team, you know? And so some of that is really tough, but also, like, I don't know, did it make any difference to me whether they broke that story a week ago or 2 weeks ago? No, so I'm not going to, like, bury an entire reporter group for doing it. I told you, I did it once with it wasn't important, but, like, the Royals wouldn't tell us even though we knew something was going on. I was like, whatever, I don't care. And so sometimes it just kind of depends. I think it has an interesting impact on the team the same way, like, what we were talking about with Eric Bieniemy. When you have a plan and someone is supposed to be in charge and their voice is supposed to be heard and now that voice isn't being heard because, and not saying they're not trying to execute your plan, but because Kyle Shanahan can't do the job the same way because he's being asked to do different things, that feels like it could have, I'm not saying it will, but very well could have an impact on, you know, what's going on. And so, like, that part of it is always interesting and something worth following, that's all.
Well, it's definitely worth following. I would say for Kyle Shanahan, if he still is having these concussion symptoms in week one, remember, they also play in Australia week one, so their season starts a little bit earlier. The Rams and Niners play overseas, and so, you know, how does that handle, like, you know, with concussion symptoms and flying and things like that? Now, they got a month plus to get ready. If in week one he's still dealing with symptoms, and he's the play caller, remember, for that team, as well as the head coach, so that's when it becomes more concerning. During camp, I don't think, whether it's the Kyle Shanahan situation or we're talking about missing EB for camp, if that ends up being the case, when you have the OTA period and the offseason, it's not as if now, like, they don't know what offense to run. They're executing still the plan that's intended. Now, there's nothing can replace the coach being there on site and having it his exact way. And in EB's case, of course, being able to be the hard ass, right, that's going to make sure the fundamentals are being followed properly and executed properly and that kind of stuff. You can't replace that. But in terms of, like, the overall offensive scheme, nothing's changing.
It's still Kyle Shanahan.
Nothing's changing here, and nothing's going to change in San Francisco, even with their head coach now missing some time.
It doesn't, like, that part of it is true, but, Gold, I'd be genuinely worried if I was told Andy Reid was going to be at 40% working capacity for all of training camp. I'd be like, ooh, he's the ideas man. Like, we can say this all we want, but there's a reason why Kyle Shanahan's gotten to the top, has gone to a Super Bowl. Super Bowls? He's been to 2. He lost them both to the Kansas City. Or no. That first one was Harbaugh. But so, like, there's a reason why he's the head man in charge. He is better at creating systems in order to get his team atop than most other people. And so the person behind him is, hypothetically, not likely to be doing quite as good of a job. And I understand that he's still there and he can still have input and all this other stuff. It just puts, like, a weird cloud off the start, I guess is what it is for the 49ers. And it's crazy that it's them because immediately people start making the injuries or electrical substation jokes, and it had nothing to do with
this was
a
car accident.
No, I know, but people just, like, they lean into the immediate jokes of like, that's a cursed franchise whose team can't stay healthy, because it does feel that way in a lot of ways. But the head coach has, it's very different.
Did you see the comments from Sean McVay over the weekend? I will say, Sean McVay is one of the great coaches in the league, but hard not to like Sean McVay, just the way he goes about his business. Basically, for those that didn't see, there were some quotes from his press conference that he had, and he was asked about Kyle Shanahan. They're pretty close. They're good friends. And he just
came from the same system.
Yeah, and they were all out in Washington way back in the. That staff in Washington was absolutely loaded. If you go back and look, the team photos are hilarious.
It's like 6 active head coaches.
Yeah, it was crazy. And long story short, Sean McVay, his comments about Kyle Shanahan and was hard not to like the guy. He was very complimentary of Kyle Shanahan and talking about, well wishes and his family and all that kind of stuff. And remember, they're rivals in the same division. And there's plenty of coaches that don't like each other in this league. But I don't know. Sean McVay, he continued. It's pretty rare. Not that he doesn't make mistakes in game, but I haven't found one reason why you wouldn't like Sean McVay.
No, I haven't either. I mean, it's why it's the pipe dream, but it's still the dream in the sense that McVay's contract runs out, he quits for a couple of years, and then comes back right when Andy Reid retires. It's not going to happen, but it's why it's everybody's dream. By the way, on that 2012-2013 Washington Commanders coaching staff, it included Kyle Shanahan as the offensive coordinator, Sean McVay as the quarterbacks and tight ends coach, Matt LaFleur as the co-quarterbacks coach, Mike McDaniel as a wide receivers coach, and Raheem Morris as the defensive backs coach. Also included Bobby Slowick, who's had other opportunities outside of this.
He was the Texans OC for about a year or so.
What on earth? Oh, you know what? Kevin O'Connell might have also been on that staff.
Just loaded. Absolutely loaded.
So, I don't know, man. Nuts, right? In so many ways. Just crazy.
All right, let's get to some camp questions. JT's filling in for Drew. Each day of camp that we're up here, we'll have 3 or 4 questions lobbed our way. JT, what we got?
Questions.
All right, guys. First day up at training camp. I want to know what assistant coach outside of Bieniemy are you most intrigued about seeing up there handling wide receivers, running backs? What assistant coach are you most intrigued to see up there?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm taking the low.
Are you going to take the low hanging?
I'm going to take the low.
That's fine.
I'm going to take the low hanging fruit here. I will take a position coach. Of course, Chad O'Shea. I think we all have talked about him throughout this offseason. And a lot of it is more, frankly, not only on his own accolades, Cody, but how bad the coaching was at that position prior to his arrival. And so, as I've said over and over, I think this is a great hire, but we also can't expect him to work miracles. He is still ultimately a wide receiver coach. However, if we have questions about Xavier Worthy and spatial awareness on the field and connecting deep down the field, and we want to see if Cyrus Allen could develop or Jalen Royals can develop, well, they got the wide receiver coach I at least know is going to give them the best chance to actually develop into something special. Doesn't mean they will, but I know they're getting proper coaching, which seems so silly to say about an NFL team that every team should have a damn good wide receiver coach. The Chiefs did not. They did not until Chad O'Shea. So yeah, I don't necessarily. I'm not intrigued necessarily to see what he has to say as much as it is. I want to see it in action.
Does the unit improve?
Yep. So Chad O'Shea's the low-hanging fruit. I'll take it.
So he's an obvious answer, and there's nothing wrong with it in any way. My answer is actually a guy who's been here for a while, Joe Cullen.
Okay.
This defensive line was wretched. But as we know in the NFL, the difference between being the 11th best team in sacks and the 26th or 8th ranked team in sacks like the Chiefs were last year is like 10. It is, and I know that's a lot because that's, it's an extra sack every other game or so. But there's no reason that with this group we shouldn't see improvement. Get George Karlaftis healthy and back to where he is. You've got young guys in Gelati and Omar Norman-Lott and Peter Woods and R. Mason Thomas. This thing is littered with first and second round picks. Joe Cullen's job is to make sure they get to the quarterback. So for this year where I feel like the pass rush is going to matter more than it has in a couple of years because the secondary is young, without Trent McDuffie, without their regular veterans, unless, L'Jarius Sneed makes the team and has an impact, with so many young guys, the defensive line needs to carry the freight that the secondary, I think, has been carrying for the defensive line, if that makes sense.
No, that's more than
so.
fair.
Joe Cullen is a guy that I'm very interested in following this year.
That's a good answer. If we had to name a third, I would say Andy Heck, even though he's also been around for a while. Cody, there is no excuse for this run game not to be effective. That's on. Yep. That's on. I would have said, it still is. It's on Eric Bieniemy. That's on Andy Reid, but it's also on Andy Heck. They have too much talent on the offensive line. They spent way too much money on a running back for it not to be an effective run scheme in 2026. All right, JT, what else we got?
Yeah, so my next question for you guys is this. Who do you think will take the biggest year 2 leap out of last year's draft class?
Well, there's a couple of candidates that I think are obvious towards the top.
Good candidates.
Yeah, some really good candidates. I'll go ahead and I'll go with the top pick. I'll go with Josh Simmons. Okay. I know some people were questioning, his run blocking. Ultimately, can he be available? Not have a month-long absence. Yeah. Can he? He had a fluky injury, but he still was hurt late in the year as well. I'll go Josh Simmons. I still have the bar very, very high.
And he set a pretty high bar anyway, so his leap would still have to be pretty substantial.
Yeah, I'll go with him. I think one day he's going to be an all-pro left tackle. So that's why he's my answer.
I don't want to take Omar Norman-Lott because he's coming off the injury and still unavailable to practice. So, I just don't – he would be kind of an answer. So I think I'd be tossed between Noel Williams and Jeffrey Bassa. I think it's Williams. Noel Williams is going to end up being the starting outside corner for this team most of the year, right? Unless Canada or L'Jarius Sneed or somebody like that can take his job. He was better. He was like to me, he was the Tyquan Thornton last year on defense. Why the hell aren't you playing him more? Why is he off the field so much? Why do you take him off the field in important situations and put on these other guys who I don't trust nearly as much? And so Noel Williams is my answer. I'd make an argument for Bassa, though, because we have not talked about how many snaps are missing out of the linebacker crew because of Chenal. And I'm pretty sure they're just all going to Bassa.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's going to be his job.
His year 1 jump to year 2 is going to be easy because he wasn't on the field a ton in year 1 versus Noel Williams or Josh Simmons. Our 2 selections were regular players for this team. But I still think my answer is Noel Williams just because I think he's going to be a next in a long line of corners who they make immediately good starters at corner. Spags defense, their secondary coach, whatever makes it work, it works.
The only other name I thought about was Ashton Gelati.
I just want to hold on that one until same one. It's not a bad guess, but would the biggest year 2 jump for him? He'd need to be like a 5 or 6 that guy.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Well, yeah.
I'm not sure I'm there yet.
All right, last one, JT.
All right, the last one's kind of a fun one. I know it probably won't happen, but say both of you or either of you tore your ACL in December. Do you think you would be out on the football field?
Okay, so how long would it take me? Let's just say to run full speed. Like a full sprint, Alex.
Yeah.
How long would it take you to make a full sprint after you have the same knee injury as Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, at least 12 months.
I'd still be on crutches.
At least 12 months. The average person, rehabs two or 3 times a week? Mahomes is rehabbing twice a day. We're actually going to well, this is funny you asked this question because at 1:10 today, we're going to have Aaron Borgman from Borgman Rehab Solutions. He used to be on NFL sidelines for the Eagles and the Chiefs. We'll ask him this very question what's the normal non-world-class athlete timeline versus world-class athlete only focus is rehab and grinding every single day to get ready for your job. In this case, we're talking about Patrick Mahomes.
It's one of 2 answers for me. I'm 41 years old. Here's the 2 results of I just had the same knee injury of Patrick Mahomes. How long until I could run a full sprint? Two options. One is that I just never run again. I just decide that I will never get to a full head of steam ever again, right? I'll just never attempt a legit sprint in the rest of my life. That are 2 years minimum. I need 2 full years to run again. I'm 41. I'm old.
Well, I got
I don't have gout.
You have gout?
I have, I've got a bone condition in my foot. So 2 years. 2 years, JT. I've torn knee ligaments, so I know what that problem. Multiple
Knock
times.
on wood.
No ACLs.
I have not had knee problems yet in my life.
MCL and PCL have gone in both before, so I've torn those. I've had knee surgeries.
I'm sure at some point in 10, 15 years I'll have knee problems. I don't know.
I feel like after the back and the dryer thing, I feel like back's more likely to get you, especially with tall people.
I haven't had any
back problems always happen with tall people.
I haven't had any back problems in a while, though.
I know. I just feel like that's the more likely culprit.
Yeah.
You've never had any knee issues.
No.
That I know of.
No.
You have at least had one flare up with your back.
I did. That's
true.
And you're
tall. Tall people always have back problems.
Yeah.
It's a classic sign.
Someone says, consider me shocked. Cody didn't say he'd be back quicker than Mahomes. I am shocked, too.
Are you nuts?
Yeah.
I don't even know how he's back.
Well, he's a world-class athlete. He's also not human. He also has the maximum amount of resources to do it. And he's just different.
Oh, man.
He's just different than everybody else.
Yeah, I'm also probably not going to work as hard as he did to get that. I don't have
that's
time.
And yeah, you're only rehabbing like twice a week. He's rehabbing every single day, maybe multiple times a day. I wish we had a camera on us here because a wasp just flew right in front of Cody and he just froze. The look on your face.
I didn't want it. It was right by my eyes.
The look on your face.
All day with these damn wasps.
What if you just use the fan and it gets near you, just use the fan and it blows it away?
I don't think that'll work. They can go against us.
Do you think that's a high-powered fan you got over there?
It's not a high-powered fan. It's providing some air, but very little.
Huh. Okay. Thank you, JT. Those are some camp questions here on Cody and Gold each and every day that we're up here. And our next day up here will be Wednesday, then Friday, and then we'll be up here for most of next week as well as we continue through and just getting going, really, on our training camp coverage, which is presented by Break Time. Whether you're fueling up or grabbing a snack on the way to training camp, Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app and find a location near you. Coming up next, we will only have a random question of the day, but we'll hear a little bit of what Patrick Mahomes had to say going back to Friday, and also some comments from Chase Daniel about the recovery from Mahomes.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This July is America's 250th birthday, and at Low T Center, they're celebrating 250 years with their 250 for 250 deal. That's because all month long, they want to get you back to feeling your normal self, and men who start testosterone therapy and stay with it for 90 days will earn $250 back over at Low T Center. It's an easy time of year to realize you don't have the energy, you don't have the sex drive that you were used to having before, or any of these other signs that can be signs of low testosterone, especially because you know your body better than other people do. You know if you don't feel right. You know if something's been going on that you've been choosing to ignore. Because they have a mobile app, they have a short in-person visit for the first one, and then you can choose telehealth to go inside the doctor's office. You get to choose your option for how you want to be taken care of. That is why it's all in your hands. So come celebrate 250 years of America with Low T's 250 for 250 deal, because bringing back your energy and vitality is worth celebrating. Offer in July 31st. Terms and conditions apply. Go to fixmylowt.com.
$30 million in guaranteed prizes you can cash in this football season out in Las Vegas with 3 Circa Sports contests. Entries starting at $1,000, all with zero rake. Circa Million, 18 weeks of point spread action, 128 ways to win. Or Circa Survivor. You pick one winner each week, the last one standing wins. And Circa Grandissimo with a $100,000 entry. Enter in Nevada. Play from anywhere. $30 million guaranteed. Visit circasports.com for details.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter. I scream. You scream. We all scream. Because Wendy's famous small classic Frosty is just $1 for a limited time. More screaming, happy screaming, summer screaming, dollar small classic Frosty screaming! But please don't scream in the drive-thru. It hurts the employees' ears. Get a $1 small classic Frosty for a limited time, only at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. A la carte only, not valid for delivery. Limit 10 per transaction. Price may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Rob Sight Ford, KC's Ford volume leader and top rated on Google. 135th and State Line. Rob Sight Ford, your 2025 Ford volume leader. Top rated on Google with 4.8 stars and 3,000 plus reviews. The best selection, best prices, and Kansas City's best customer service. Visit Rob Sight Ford at 135th and State Line. Buy right, save big, and drive home a winner. Only at Rob Sight Ford.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
All right, we're back here at Mo West in St. Joe. It's Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp with you. JT back in the studio, filling in for Drew this week. Drew will be back with us next week. He is enjoying a nice little family vacation in the Outer Banks. We'll have to find out if he got his reserve spot again. That's always been the story. Remember that one year some other family was on the beach, a public beach, by the way, and they were
in a public area.
They were upset that somebody was sitting in their spot. So we'll have to fill ourselves in on that and have him provide us with the information a little bit later. Also, don't forget in the 1 o'clock hour today, more on Patrick Mahomes and his recovery from this ACL, LCL injury. Aaron Borgman, who used to be a trainer in the NFL, is going to join us. Give us a little insight just in general about recovery. How crazy, frankly, is it that he's already back?
How much better can he get in the next 6 to 7 weeks?
Exactly, because let's get to what Chase Daniel had to say. Chase Daniel, former NFL quarterback, obviously former Missouri Tiger. He's got a pretty successful media career now, and he was talking over the weekend, looking at the video that's out there from Mahomes rolling out to his left and dropping back, and this was his perspective on what he noticed Mahomes' left knee looking like.
Absolutely still babying the left knee. He looks trimmer. He looks a little bit more explosive, but he's absolutely still babying the left knee. And so a lot of people will say, hey, he looks full go. I mean, week 1, in my opinion, still in question. Wouldn't be surprised. He did this, in December. And so this is a 7-step drop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're faking to the right. A lot of times when you're going that way, you'll just open up that way. I don't know. I've never really seen them spin out to their handoff. So it's a spin out fake. I don't know if that is because of his left foot, because he wants it. I don't know. That's a good question. It's something to really look at. I'll go back and look at other videos and we'll see, but pretty good little throw right there. A lot of times, look at his left leg right there. It's pointed right at his target. His knee looks a little bit left, but he can't really bend it. So when your plant leg gets down, it's tough.
So that's a former NFL quarterback's perspective on the injury. And as we said earlier, I'm not saying that he's 100% right, but also I trust that opinion far more than you and I just trying to watch him throw and act like we know something we don't know when it comes to somebody coming back from a knee injury and whether or not the knee looks a little off. Look, the good news is, even if that's true, that he's babying the left knee still, he's got 6 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever we're at now, Cody, to get it to a position where maybe he's not doing it as much. Why would he push anything at this point? He finally got cleared medically to practice. He's out here. The next step is going to be when they're in pads and when there's some pressure. I told you I don't need to see him in a preseason game. I'm good. I don't know if the Chiefs are going to allow him to play in a preseason game. To me, that would be a mistake. That's just my opinion. But Patrick Mahomes being out here already and not having to miss a single day of camp — today was a scheduled vet day off — is a huge step forward and why we all think he's playing week 1.
Well, I go back and I look. I think what I'm trying to remember with him is it's incredible that he's ready and this far, but there is a lot of healing time left. Like, we're talking 2 months almost of healing time left. Like, I don't know exactly how many days it is till September 14th? I I mean, that's a long time.
It's like 6 weeks or whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah, until, it's just it's a long time for him to continue to get stronger outside of that. And I guess I'd be a little bit surprised. 49 days. I'd be surprised if he wasn't still leaning on that a little bit. He does look like he's favoring it, but he's also rolling out and throwing on the run and running and doing all this other stuff. And so whatever questions we may or may not have had about if he was going to be available week 1, those seem long gone, just as long as he can stay healthy. But I think it's fairly obvious for the first month or two, he's going to need to, at least try to protect himself a little more than he normally does. I don't think that means they'll run past more or less.
But he's going to be smarter.
He needs to run less. He needs to take off less. He needs to slide faster. He needs to get out of bounds faster. He can't go for that extra inch for at least a little while.
I believe, JT, we've got some sound, correct me if I'm wrong, of Mahomes talking about that very thing, maybe being a little more cautious or acknowledging he ran too much last year.
I plan to be able to do everything I did before. I've been moving around and doing that stuff, but I'm going to obviously try to take care of myself a little bit better than I did last season. I think I ran a little bit too much last season in general, so I'll try to be better with that. And then if all else fails, just give it to K9 and let him just go out there and work.
Yeah, that's the benefit they have. They have what should be a very competent run game, effective run game. And I agree with you, Cody. I don't think we're expecting them to hand the ball off 38 times or whatever to Kenneth Walker. But it is something to know that, hey, look, he's medically cleared right now. We all think eventually he'll be cleared to actually play in an NFL game by week 1. And then even within that, this is where people get all upset when you say, well, he's not going to be 100% Mahomes week 1. I have no doubt in my mind, down the road, he will be Patrick Mahomes to the full extent all over again. But in week 1, there's a chance he's going to be smarter because he needs to protect himself, but also because there still might be some things running-wise he cannot do as well and has to be smart about the long grind of an NFL season. I've said over and over, against Denver, I think he's going to go out and have a very nice performance, but I also understand against that defense in particular, if he's running down the sideline trying to escape, I think he's way more likely in week 1 to just run out of bounds, especially coming off an ACL, than shimmy and run up 5 yards for another 10 yards and take a hit.
I do wonder, though, because there's this part, and I think people have talked about this over and over and over again in just any kind of athletic circumstance, big or small, which is it is easy to say that. It's easy to say I won't go for the extra yard, but if it's the fourth quarter,
sure,
and he needs a foot,
is he able to do it, though? It's not just one and one.
Yeah.
I have no doubt.
He won't be able to turn it off. I know that. He'll go for it.
I have no doubt that he wants to do it. We've all watched him play. We all know he finds a different level when he has to have it. He's acknowledged that. I'm saying, will he be able to do that?
Actually physically get to the corner. I don't know. But it's hard to convince your brain, and this is where, we'll find out where he is after the injury is. It's hard to convince your brain sometimes that you're not capable of it versus finding out the hard way. You go for that move that you've gone for 1,000 times only to realize you ain't got that yet. And that's not a part of the bag. They got to really coach him. I would essentially.
Is Denver the team you also want to be testing that with? That defense?
Not particularly. Somebody says they don't even trust Sean. Over on the text line, they said, I don't trust Sean Payton. Oh. Are we sure he won't bounty gate this thing and try to injure Mahomes in week 1? I was like, you know what? In fairness, he did do that once.
He did.
So, but he took a pretty severe punishment for it, so I'd like to think Sean Payton learned his lesson, but who knows?
But did this injury lead to better footwork for Mahomes? Does it lead to him trying to get the ball out quicker? He talked about maybe trying to get the ball out just a tad bit quicker this year.
Yeah, I think it's just about getting the ball out of my hands. I think, obviously, I like to make the big play happen, and sometimes I won't take the short one, or I won't take the first read because I'm trying to make a bigger play happen. It's getting the ball out of my hands, making plays like that happen, and then whenever the deep ball is there, you have to hit it. At the end of the day, that just comes down to me throwing the ball and giving guys chances to make plays. It doesn't always have to be perfect, but give guys chances to make plays downfield. And so if we can do that, as well as the running game that I'm excited for, I think we can get back to being a dynamic offense.
Again, how long till he makes the play where it's you're like, how's the play lasting for 15 seconds or whatever, and he extends it out for 10 to 15 seconds versus what he's saying there, which is hey, even if it's not the perfect window or it's not the perfect
setup, put a little air under it and actually give him an attempt to catch it?
Or the play is developing slower down the field, but I got a guy wide open short. I'm not going to mess around. I'm going to get rid of the football. How long does that strategy and mentality last is what I want to know.
Well, a lot of it, what's funny is this wasn't always a problem. This wasn't always an issue. He was a good deep ball thrower for a number of years. And then I genuinely, this is where I actually blame Brett Veach a little bit for this, despite the fact he's not the one throwing the football. I think his confidence got shaken, and he stopped trusting people in the deep ball when his wide receivers were ass.
Oh, I thought you were going to say offensive line at one point, too.
That may be too. A combination.
Post-Bucs Super Bowl.
Yeah, combination of the two. And he started, ripping it up in the air before he should, early, late, whichever version, and getting inside of this. And so, constantly, this was, an issue for a number of years. And I do really wonder whether or not that was a part of, what did eventually shake his confidence because he wasn't always a bad deep passer. He was actually one of the best in the NFL for the first 3 years he was an NFL starting quarterback. So did he just lose his touch? Because for the most part, guys who we talk about being good at throwing a deep ball are just good at it. And I do think that there's something changed. Maybe it's footwork. Maybe he just lost the touch. I don't know. But he's been one of the worst in the NFL over the last couple of years, statistically, which is not great. And certainly something that has to improve. And some of it definitely is on him because more than anything, he just throws it over their head. He throws a lot of deep passes. And you know this watching as much Chiefs as we do. He throws a lot of deep passes that are sailed, that nobody has any chance to catch. What's the point of that ball?
No, it's been a problem. It's absolutely been a problem for them. Their training camp coverage brought to you by Yingling Flight. Football season starts here. Reach for Yingling Flight, the next generation of light beer. Enjoy responsibly. All right, let's get to the random question of the day. And then I don't think you are going to like the fact that the Royals released something after Salvador Perez's record-breaking home run.
We'll see.
It's right up your alley, too. Let's get to the random question first.
Random question.
For you, Gold, for you, JT, over on the text line, 913-586-7965. And, of course, over on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. I know we're not on camera today. We'll be back in studio tomorrow.
Thank goodness we're not on camera. We're all just sweating our ass
I know. But you can still watch over on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook if that's how you consume the show. Still available for you over there as well. The question I have for you today relates to some news over the weekend on LeBron James, who obviously signed with the 76ers. We know on Friday during the show, Alex. And then officially, I think the deal got signed today. As a part of the reporting around it, they have said that LeBron James will live in New York City and might commute via helicopter in order to get to and from work. So my random question today is, if they offered you a helicopter to and from work every day and it significantly cut down your time, would you do it? Would you take a helicopter to and from work every day, just free? Free of charge for you, Alex. It's a 10-minute helicopter ride or a 30-minute drive. Would you take the helicopter instead?
Ooh, I don't know if that's a big enough gap, right? Like you said 10 or 30. I think it needs to be between 10 or an hour. That's where I'm at. So if you tell me I can get somewhere in a helicopter for 10 or 15 minutes, it's paid for. I'm as wealthy as LeBron in this scenario as well. So I know it's like top flight helicopter. You know what I mean? Yeah, I would say yes. I would.
But you wouldn't do it for your current commute.
No, 15 minutes is no. It's going to take longer for me to drive to the airport, get on the helicopter.
No, let's just say it picks you up in front, right in front of your
apartment complex parking lot.
Yeah, I'm cutting your commute way the hell down. You're taking the helicopter.
I actually disagree. A 15-minute commute is not going to be any quicker in a helicopter.
You don't think so?
By the time I load up in the helicopter, by the time we land the helicopter, that helicopter is going to land in our parking lot at work, and it's going to sink into the ground.
In model air conditions, a helicopter flight from New York to Philadelphia is estimated to take between 33 and 45 minutes. What would a car ride? You know, what would a car? What you know?
I'm telling you, you have to go. I know you're saying this hypothetical, it picks me up, but you would have to go to an airport. It has to be like an hour savings or 45-minute savings.
Is it weird that I would be
totally
fine,
agree
but like
with
there's a
Gold.
limit to the distance I want to be in a helicopter? I wouldn't want to go more than like 2 hours.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't think you take 2 hours.
I don't want to cross-country
helicopter rides are, I feel like, an hour and a half max. I've never been in one. Who's taking 3-hour helicopter rides?
I know someone probably, right? I don't know how much fuel they have. Right now you can take a train. It will take you an hour to get. You can take a
LeBron's not hopping on a train. Are you kidding me? I saw some random TikTok over the weekend. It was bragging about you can take a scenic train ride from Kansas City to Dallas and get there in 27 hours. Man, we need light rail and speed. High speed.
An hour 44 via car. So
high speed rail. What do we take? 27 hours to take a train ride down to Dallas.
I gotta say, I think it's LeBron should just live in Philly. What the hell, man? Why can't he just live in Philly?
He wants to live in Philly.
I mean, well, fine, but like it's only for 1 year, maybe 2.
I don't know.
Who wants to get a helicopter every day? Like you said, he's got now he probably has a helipad at his place or wherever. He could probably live in an apartment that has a helipad. So he might just have to go upstairs. But still, JT, what's your answer? You take a helicopter to work?
See, if I was living back in Raymore, I would. But now that I live over here in Shawnee, I would say no, just like Gold, just because it's a 15-minute drive. And I'm totally fine with it.
There's also, I just also, like, you can get in a car accident. A helicopter, I just feel like you're tempting fate. If you tell me for 5 straight years, 300 days out of the year,
Are they more likely to crash?
I'm in a helicopter, I feel like I'm risking fate a little bit. I don't know what the data says, Cody. Yeah, more likely car accident, helicopter. I'll tell you this about a helicopter. Of course, we all know prior history, unfortunately, of some tragedies. But I'm not worried about anybody else's error as much as I am in a car. Like, the pilot can mess up, yes, but in a car accident, I'm worried about some other idiot on the road that's going to run into me and cause an accident. Helicopter, there's not a bunch of other helicopters flying next to me as I'm trying to fly into work.
General aviation data shows general helicopters at about 9.84 crashes per 100,000 flights compared to 7.28 for a general aircraft. So slightly more likely.
General aircraft. What about car, though? That's the question. Car, not other aircraft. I agree that helicopter.
Car is definitely going to be the most.
Well, that's the point.
But I mean,
that's the point.
But I feel like but then I got to look at like the odds of me dying if I crash a helicopter versus a car. And I'll be honest, helicopter's like 100%, right? I mean,
well, that's my point.
Yeah.
Is that I think you're not worrying about other people as much in a helicopter
What
as
if,
you
like,
are.
Like, I guess just from this, if they offered you this for radio, would you just live it? So they said, Alex, we want you to come host in Chicago. We know that you're from Kansas City, but we're going to pay you quadruple what you make now. We want you to come host in Chicago, but we'll have a helicopter take you to and from. Would you do it?
I would, but I also I would. For those that keep texting in about, we obviously know Kobe Bryant. With all due respect, let's not act like no athlete or any other person has ever died in a car accident. Well, no, died in a car wreck. Like, that's the one that stands out. Like, I love how we're making it seem like helicopter is far more dangerous. No, it's not. Car accidents way more dangerous.
You're probably more likely. I mean, obviously, way more deaths happen every year. Well, aircrafts are significantly safer.
Yes.
But I don't know, I don't know outside of the.
Yeah, someone says more cars and helicopters. That's not the point. There's still numbers out there that per whatever, they can figure this out. It's not the first time somebody's tried to figure that out.
I imagine it's
obviously,
a pretty popular helicopter path.
More people are
but why not just
driving,
live in Philly?
But there's still per whatever, you can still do the math and figure out percentage-wise if it's more likely.
But why not just live in Philly? Am I crazy for this?
I'm with you.
Like, it's not like you're living outside of Philly in a suburb, and because, like, at the time, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I think 2 hours is max. Like, I don't even know that, the maximum I'd want to be in the helicopter for a commute is an hour, I think. I've never been in one, though. That person offered us the helicopter pass. I guess I need to email him back. Maybe we can still make that happen. Maybe I can still get in a helicopter. You still want to go in a helicopter ride with me? I got to go look up the listener. It's offering it up.
This says, based on this claims, Cody, helicopters it's the opposite of what we were just saying. Helicopters are 85 times more dangerous than driving, is what this claims.
85 times?
This is from Slate Magazine.
More deadly or more dangerous? Those are different.
It just says, I need a paywall. I'm not doing that. I can't do that. Fatal accident rate of civilian helicopters in the U.S. 17 times higher than the fatal accident rate of passenger cars. So, I've been proven wrong.
You're far more likely to die in a helicopter crash than you are in a car crash.
There you go.
But he's not going to take a 2-hour commute every day to get to basketball practice.
Yeah. Someone says, what about the weather impacting the helicopter? Well, you just don't get on the helicopter that day is my assumption. If it's like terrible, severe thunderstorms.
And you what? Take the train? Take a private car?
You have somebody else drive you, LeBron.
You're LeBron. You have someone else drive you.
But then that's a 2-hour commute that day.
Then I guess you're not.
You got to take on the Knicks that night. You're getting your ass whipped. Your guy's 2 hours in a car, stiff at 41 years old.
Oh wait, he might stay with Embiid that night. Be like, hey man, I see the weather. I can't get on the helicopter.
I mean, at the very least, when you got his kind of wealth, you got to keep a place in Philly in case you're like, man, I don't want to take the copter tonight. I got to I'm just going to crash at the pad. Like, you got to just still have like a condo or something.
I'm assuming
don't you?
You will have something there.
Good point, JT. You got to have something. This is really small, and then we're going to talk about Salvador Perez. I saw Madden put out their 100 ranked players, and I got zero objection to most of them, is the truth. But the one thing I can't figure out is it only me, you, and Matt Verderam who thought Josh Allen did not look nearly as good last year as he had in a number of other years? Why is he ranked 100? it was like for the first time, and I'm not saying Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion, but I just.
Because for multiple years, people nationally have been waiting to say he's the best quarterback in football. People were already trying to do it the year Mahomes lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl by saying that's proof. So people were just waiting for them to have a 6-win season. That's what I think happened.
All right, fair enough.
Well, I mean, I saw a lot of problems with it because they didn't even put Bijan Robinson in the Madden 99 club. I mean, they put Trey McBride over him. Jamar Chase is in there. Jackson Smith obviously is in there. Matthew Stafford's in there. I mean, I was like, where's Bijan?
I don't really have an issue with Stafford, the kind of season he had. He had an MVP season. He was incredible. Jamar Chase, I got no issue with. Jackson Smith and Jigba. And Myles Garrett, I don't even really take issue with. I just didn't think Josh Allen, he didn't have nearly as good of a season as any of the guys we just mentioned.
Yeah.
I guess is part of it.
We can get into this more coming up in the 1 o'clock hour if you want. I do want to get to something that I brought to your attention this morning, and I thought you would have seen it.
I had not seen it.
Since you are over here producing music and songs multiple times a year. So we all know Salvador Perez made history in Detroit over the weekend. Awesome to see. He broke George Brett's career Royals home run record, I should say. And it was neat to see the team rally around him and hang out for his post-game interview. They took a team photo. Very, very cool. Well-deserved honor for Salvador Perez. Well, the Royals this morning put out a highlight video of some sorts about the home run feat. And in it, they had a song attached to it from somebody. Honestly, I don't know who the individual is. We can get his name shout out here in a second. I want you to listen to this. Are you jealous that the Royals sent out this song from this guy, but they never sent one out for you? This is from, do we have the name? Written and produced by Frank Hensley. Salvi is what it's called. Can we play a little bit of that?
Casey loves you. Let the trumpets lean azul on the Kaufman lights, oh yeah. Feel that summer heat. Say his name tonight.
It's catchy. The beat's good. It's catchy.
It's catchy as hell.
It's well done.
I can't deny that.
It's very
I like
well
the
done.
background noises with it sounds like they've got a whole sombrero going on or whatever it's called at the Mexican restaurant.
It's fun. That song's fun as hell.
It's a good song.
Well, I mean, would have been nice to have asked if I wanted to contribute. Sure. Do I?
Someone says
do I
AI,
think that
someone
that's
says AI music? People are saying.
What?
It's written. It says
it's written and produced by a real person.
Now I guess it could still be AI, but it's written and produced by a real guy. Frank was his name. The Royals put it out on their social media accounts this morning.
Really?
I think you just got some competition. You can bag on the Pat back if
this guy's out in California. He's like a real producer. Says he's a vice president of the label.
Wow, he's not even a Kansas City native. That's crazy.
Yeah, that kind of hurts. I gotta say,
it's
a Kansas City thing. At least get Tech 9 or something to do it.
We've got enough.
We can't be outsourcing this outside the city. We got enough musicians in Kansas City, or make him make it a Venezuelan, musician, and maybe the singer is. I don't know. The Frank Hensley guy is clearly not the guy.
Just play that beginning part again. I mean, it's catchy.
It is catchy.
It's pretty catchy. See, that works right there. Thank you, JT.
Casey loves you.
That song's fun. That's a good song. Honestly, they made the right call. It's pretty good.
It is very good.
It was nice to see. All the Salvi stuff has been fun just because he's an all-time Royal. And you and I have, this is more of an off-air conversation sometimes between us or other people, which is not all athletes are likable, even in your own town. Salvi's incredibly likable. He's a fan favorite in every capacity. He's been an impossibly hard worker at every stage of his career. He's been here since he was a teenager. Saying Kansas City's my second home and all this other stuff. I mean, he's made an entire life, career, all of it here. So watching him break George Brett's record was so cool.
Yeah, he's been such a great Royal, such a great guy in the community for this team, for this city. We all know countless memories that we've all had because of him in large part at times. And the fact that it's happening in a year where the team's not any good is a bit of a bummer, but I'm glad they won the game that he broke the record in, too, because that's why they were able to celebrate the way they did. It would have been weird, right, if they would have just gotten their butts kicked by the Tigers and then they're trying to have this celebration after the game. But they won the game, so everybody's able to enjoy the moment. They take that team photo, and they were all there behind Salvi for the Joel Goldberg interview there on TV broadcast, and so
and not only that, his home run actually tied the game. It wasn't like, oh, hey, you won 18-1 and you hit it off a no-name pitcher. No,
it was a divisional game that tied it late. It was like classic.
Have we seen what the swap was? Because I think a Tigers fan caught it, right? Have we seen he clearly got the ball, I assume, but what's the swap? In that spot, if you're a Tigers fan and you catch a significant ball of an opposing team, are you asking for Salvador Perez stuff, or are you, that Tigers fan, trying to actually get them to trade out some Tigers stuff for you?
I would think both might be the case, but if you're the Tigers, you'll take care of the guy, right? I mean, it's not.
I think so.
Like, I don't know why you wouldn't. Honestly, the teams don't hate each other that much, so I don't really know. I don't know what happens with the home run ball. You would think it matters something to Salvi. Did you see somebody do the math? Who was it? Was it Tom?
Based on other stadiums?
Yeah, my God, he'd be the all-time home run king for all catchers if he played anywhere but Kauffman Stadium, essentially. It was nuts. It was like 360 in a neutral field.
Well, they also
385 in a short field.
They were also giving him credit for the COVID year, saying, "Hey, what if that was a full season?"
Yeah, and 20 plus, which is not crazy.
Yeah,
like there is now. Look, people lose. He also lost one for injury. We don't have to count every season that gets lost for reasons, right? People lose seasons for a variety of reasons, whether it be injury. But COVID feels like one of those ones. That's not injury. That's not like life got you in a different way. That's slightly different.
Hey, I know we're on the Royals topic, but Pablo Toro is breaking that in addition to the Mike Lombardi HR matter, the University of North Carolina football team is also being investigated by the College Sports Commission. So,
that's from Pablo Toro?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
For what?
The entity which handles compliance and enforcement of NCAA and NIL rules. That's all.
So maybe they were cheating a little bit. We'll see.
The
we'll find
entity
out.
that handles compliance and enforcement of NCAA and NIL rules. So Mike Lombardi was breaking the rules?
Shocker.
What?
Patriots
I'll tell
ties,
you right now.
Bill Belichick?
I'll tell you right now. If he gets caught cheating, he gets caught cheating in college too.
It should hurt his legacy.
He's no longer the greatest coach that ever lived. Just cross it, and you could make the argument anyway because of the already cheating. But if he cheats there too, then he's just a lifetime cheater who does nothing but cheat. And most of his success, and by the way, that knocks Tom Brady too. Because that guy was cheating for you the whole damn time. He doesn't have to come all the way down. He's still the greatest quarterback of all time. But I'll tell you right now, if Patrick Mahomes gets to 5 or 6 rings, I'll be making the argument that a couple of Tom Brady's are slightly fraudulent.
Yeah, I think it's more the coach thing than I would about Brady. I think it'd be more about the comparison between Andy Reid and Belichick. If, in fact, I think you can already make that argument. But certainly if we find out that Belichick and Lombardi were cheating in college. Now, you can say, well, everybody cheats in college. Yeah, this is a coach that's done it everywhere he's been.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what comes of it. He's being investigated by the NIL and NCAA Infractions Committee, clearly.
Is Jordan Hudson involved in this in any way?
I don't know. Honestly, that relationship lasted longer than I was planning.
Still going,
I saw
right?
someone say that Lombardi parked in her parking spot this morning. That's why he's getting investigated.
All right, guys, let's get to the 1 o'clock hour. Let's talk more about Eric Bieniemy, who, of course, has left training camp after the terrible incident and tragedy involving his wife and their son. What it means for the football side of it, as much as we can talk about that. We'll do that a little bit. And then we'll have Aaron Borgman of Borgman Rehab Solutions, who spent 12 years on NFL sidelines, join us to talk more about rehab, recovery, ACL, LCL that Patrick Mahomes has been going through.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Vernier every Wednesday at 12:30. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
I hope you're sitting down. The ACA Marketplace has announced significant increases on monthly premiums with deductibles over $10,000. You can enroll with Matt B. and KC at BBS Insurance's Freedom of Choice plan now. You don't have to wait. Their plan lets you use any doctor, has zero outpatient deductibles, and it's 30 to 60% lower costs than most Obamacare plans. Also, there's no income disclosure required. so no potential tax penalties. If you are a small business owner or pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive. Call Matt B. in KC for an instant quote over the phone at 816-205-4664. That's 816-205-4664. Or go to bbsinsurance.net. That's bbsinsurance.net. They will customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government.
DQ presents Being a Miracle Maker. Making a difference in your community has never been easier because July 30th is Miracle Treat Day at DQ. You buy a blizzard tree at participating locations and DQ will donate $1 or more to Children's Miracle Network to benefit your local children's hospital. So on July 30th, buy a blizzard tree and be a miracle maker, a blizzard eating hero, doing their part on Miracle Treat Day. July 30th, DQ. Happy tastes good.
Men, when addressing the problem of erectile dysfunction, you want the right treatment for your specific medical situation because every case is different, and finding the right treatment can mean the difference between just an okay experience and an amazing one. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and at our practices, we offer the full range of ED treatment protocols and can even combine therapies to help make those intimate moments special both for you and your partner. At Heartland Men's Health, we take great pride in providing excellent care and treatment options for ED. Our medical providers specialize in men's sexual health and understand that no two cases are alike, which means you'll get the right treatment for you based on sound medical evaluation and appropriate applications of medical therapies. Plus, we offer treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most men, you'll get your sex life back. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Fanatic Sportsbook makes every baseball game day this season hit harder. Swing for the fences with long ball jackpots. Just pick the player who hits the longest homer of the day to win a share of $50K in fan cash. Every day brings a new shot to win. Customers also get baseball profit boosts every game day. And your bets earn you fan cash, win or lose. To spend on merch, tickets, exclusive experiences, and more. Go deep this baseball season and download Fanatic Sportsbook today for the best baseball betting experience each and every game day. Fanatic Sportsbook. Winning hits different here. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MyReset. CT call 888-789-7777. MA call 800-327-5050. NY call 877-8-HOPE-NY. MD visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Offer not available in all states. Terms apply. See Fanatic Sportsbook app.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you wash that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Ah, nope, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever, now with odor-fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
Sniff the difference.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea just got harder with Twisted Tea Extreme. Twisted Tea Extreme is made with real brewed tea, goes down smooth, and an 8% kick of alcohol. Dial up the fun with Twisted Tea Extreme. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
In a world parched for excitement, Twisted Tea's your refreshing thrill ride of flavor. The hard iced tea that's smooth, made with real brewed tea and 5% alcohol. Twisted Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Go to 965thefan.com for your chance to win Kansas City Chiefs scratch tickets, plus a chance for the grand prize Chiefs bundle, which includes a framed jersey and a signed photo. All thanks to our friends at the Kansas Lottery. Range Bait with Dusty Likens is now up on the Fan's YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter channels. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour here on a Monday. We're live in St. Joe. Chiefs training camp officially underway. We'll be up here throughout camp. Wednesday is the next day we're back here. That's when they resume practice. That's when the full team practice actually will take place. And starting Wednesday, we expect to have a member of the Chiefs join us exclusively right here under our tent and a chance to talk to hopefully a couple of the mainstays as well as we do. Should have about 14 different interviews throughout training camp. And something we're going to try this year. Now, today we don't have a player just because of the fact that it was rookies only today, and Patrick Mahomes also had a vet day off. Our friends over at the Art of Sports, they have given us some packs of Topps Chrome football to open up with the players. So excited. We're going to have 3 packs. Whenever we have a player on, today we'll just do one later on. But whenever we have a player on, we'll give the player a pack. We've got 1 hobby pack a day and 1 blaster pack a day, okay? For those that don't follow the card game, hobby, you're better chance of getting a better card. And at some point, I believe we might be guaranteed an autograph at some point throughout camp. I actually hope it doesn't happen today. I want to wait till we have a player.
That'd be a bummer.
So we'll see if any of these players also are into the sports card stuff. Either way, we'll have some fun. Maybe we get lucky. There are some numbered Mahomes cards you can potentially pull. There's also a lot of rookie cards. So thanks to the Art of Sports. If you're trying to get into sports cards and everything, the Art of Sports in Leawood, there in Town Center Plaza, you can check them out. So we'll do that a little bit later on this hour. Also, don't forget Aaron Borgman going to join us here in about 5 or 6 minutes to discuss Patrick Mahomes' recovery from ACL, LCL, just in general, how that plays out for anybody. We'll joke about our camp question that we had where JT was asking us what would normal recovery be like for you and I if we were just trying
2 years
to walk and run. So Aaron Borgman of Borgman Rehab used to be on the sidelines for the Chiefs and Eagles is going to join us, and we appreciate his time here in just a bit. And don't forget, training camp coverage is presented by Break Time. Whether fueling up or grabbing a snack on the way to training camp, Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app and find a location near you. Before we have Aaron join us, back to the terrible news of the day and just on the football side of it, too, and how it impacts based off some rookies' comments. We all know the awful situation there in Virginia. It's been reported all over now where the wife of Eric Bieniemy was shot last night in their home in Virginia by one of their own sons. He has been charged with 3 felony counts. She is in the hospital still. However, the positive update there was she is in stable condition.
And that their other son was unaffected in the
correct. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So that's the circumstances around this terrible ordeal. We were already planning on talking about Cyrus Allen and some of these young receivers because they have been praising Eric Bieniemy here at training camp, and EB, of course, is understandably so, is not here anymore at camp. He is back home, and we don't know. The Chiefs, Andy Reid acknowledged earlier, they don't know how long he's going to be away. Of course, they're going to give him as much time as possible that he needs to try to wrap your mind around and handle this situation that he is involved in with his family. But Cyrus Allen had made the comment just over the weekend, Cody, that Eric Bieniemy basically like, hey, it's no joke. When he's at camp, it's no joke. And now he's we don't know. May not be here for the rest of camp. We don't know. It could be a week. It could be a month. We have no idea.
So it's really interesting because, we'll hear a little bit more about this from Nate, but it's got to have an impact. One, it's got to have the initial ripple wave, right? Runs through the team yesterday. Everybody finds out. That's a really hard thing to wrap your head around for obvious reasons. But then, in addition to it, it's like their plan going into camp in no way changes, but the messenger does. And you and I know with sports, the messenger matters, especially because there are little tweaks or moves or this or that. And so Blameyer's job it was already important because if you're the passing game coordinator with Patrick Mahomes, your job's important. His job just became more important because he has to do his job as the passing game coordinator while actively trying to do Eric Bieniemy's.
It's the discipline part, too, I think, is the big
discipline part and the making sure that you show up and are accountable and EB has consistently been pretty good at that, and that's been his strength as an NFL head coach, and the players on this team have regularly responded to it. So, like, this group and unit like that kind of accountability. And it was weird because I saw Emmett Johnson and Cyrus Allen and other guys talking about it this weekend, and I was like, oh, great, it'll give us a chance to talk about how, maybe we're already seeing a little bit of an impact from EB. And now he's away from the team, making it much harder, obviously, for that to be felt every day, we think. And so that part of it's there. And look, I don't know. I'll tell you this much. The one mistake I never make is how you tell people how much time to, like, I would say you can't be at work today. But outside of that, I don't tell people when to return to work, not work this, that.
Some people, they might want to get back after a week. For others, it's 2 months, 3 months from now. Who knows? And I think, a lot of it, I'm sure, depends on the circumstances around the health of his wife, most importantly here, and what that does moving forward. And just a horrific, unfathomable situation that he finds himself in.
But it'd be interesting to hear from, Joe Blameyer is a guy that we hear from about once a year. They do like a Coach Day once a year at Old Arrowhead, and you, casual fan, probably doesn't catch it very often. It's for the writers. It's for a deeper understanding of the game sometimes. Unless you are deep in the 5th article, 7th article at some of these Chiefs websites, or like it doesn't even catch our attention. For somebody who does 20 hours a week, we barely talk about when those guys. So, like, hearing Joe Blameyer's philosophy and how he approaches it will be interesting to me the first time he talks up at training camp. So they haven't released who will talk when the rest of training camp just yet, but they typically do a coordinator day here, just the same as they do during the regular season, where guys like Spags, who we interacted with a little bit earlier, he mostly just complained it's miserably hot, which is fair.
Yeah, we were just joking around with him before, right at the beginning of practice off air. Yeah, look, those guys are in shells right now. Wait till they're in pads or whatever. And hopefully the temperatures get a little bit more under control as much as they can in St. Joe. Hopefully these first 3 days are about as bad as it's going to get up here. And maybe there's a little bit of break. It's still going to be hot, but there's a different level. What's the updated heat index today? We were looking at it up here in St. Joe.
100 or something?
Let's see. Last check, it is 93, feels like 104.
Now we're thankfully
in a tent.
Covered, so it's not quite that bad for us. But the second you're in the sun, it is.
Well,
feels awful.
I've been avoiding leaving the tent.
This is one of those that I don't know if you feel this way, but there are just days I just won't leave. Like, I'm not going outside unless I have to on a day like this. I don't even want to run to Target. No thanks. I'll just be in the AC.
Yeah, this would be my argument when we get to January, and I think you and Carrington always say, "Oh, winter." I can't remember what side you're on. He says he'd rather have this than winter.
Yeah, same.
I'd rather have winter. I can put layers on and layers on and layers on. It's just as bad as this, but
I don't want to go outside in either, but I'm more likely to go outside in this.
I think that's only just because you're doing more family stuff in the summertime. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. Either way, it is very, very warm, to say the least, here in St. Joe as we continue broadcasting from Chiefs training camp. Let's go out to the Golden Oak Lending phone line, though, and welcome in Aaron Borgman of Borgman Rehab Solutions. He, of course, spent 12 years on NFL sidelines for the Chiefs and in, I believe, the Eagles as well. We've had him on the show before to offer his expertise. Aaron, it's great to have you on the show. I'm sure you've got all kinds of studies and advice on the hot weather as well. Are we hydrating enough? What should we be doing up here,
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on this afternoon, guys. As a veteran of 5 full training camps at St. Joe, I can tell you that there's nothing quite like that Northwest Missouri heat and humidity combo. When we take this offline, I'll tell you where my favorite spots in town were to rehydrate after the day's events. But no free ads here, right, guys? So,
that's exactly right.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Now let's get to the obvious headline, on the football side of things at least, and that was Patrick Mahomes getting cleared medically to practice last week. He did have a veteran day off today. That was already scheduled for those that are freaking out at home. That was totally scheduled today, no problem. But how I guess, amazed is this unheard of that you have an ACL, LCL injury, and you can get back to at least practicing as quickly as he has?
Okay, so first boilerplate statement. I have taken care of Patrick in the past when I was with his team. I have not taken care of him in a very long time. I don't know any details of his rehab, so we're just going to take and approach this like it's a normal ACL, MCL. Now, that being said, we need to define the fact that there's a big, huge difference between being cleared to practice and being cleared to compete and or play. And so right now at the stage of rehab he's at, the people around him have decided that they are comfortable with him returning to the practice field and that capacity and not being restricted with the practice aspect of things. But as you guys well know, practice is controlled. Practice is scripted. Practice can be cut short or lengthened. Anything can happen in practice to where you can give the athlete the best chance for success. And when we get to this stage of the rehabilitation, we as therapists, athletic trainers, so on and so forth, can mimic a lot of things, right? We cannot mimic practice. And I would actually venture forth to say, so far, he has not been in, any person in this regard has not been in a live situation, which is good. That's fine. But you can only do so much in rehabilitation. Eventually, you got to go, hey, look, it's time to start upping the ante here. Let's go out. Let's kind of take the guardrails off a little bit at a time and see where we're at. And it's perfectly normal for anyone with an ACL, LCL at this stage to be doing such activities in a controlled environment. So I always tell people all the time, you're not ahead of schedule, you're not behind schedule, you're on schedule for where you are at, right? That player is going to be ready when he is ready. And, everybody's seen all the video and everybody has seen how that player is moving around. And clearly the medical staff feels like he's in a good position to benefit from those activities.
How do you view, I guess, what the next there's 49 days, so 6 weeks, 7 weeks, I guess, 7 weeks until Patrick Mahomes has to play an actual NFL football game. Is it common recovering from an ACL to see a 7-week supercharge, like a significant bump in health? Is it like, how much better do you think a player can get in 7 weeks, I guess, depending on if they're at the level Mahomes has been at?
Well, I think it's an interesting question because typically you don't ever see these big, giant leaps in progress, right? You see day to day. I tell people all the time, if you had a stock portfolio and you saw 1% improvement every day, you'd be really happy with that, right? The human body's kind of like that too. And so, look, if you see progress every day, now what they're going to do is they're going to grade. He went for a couple days and they gave him a couple days off. Does he swell up? Does he get tired? Does he fatigue? Does his muscle fire as well as it did? And so they're going to be constantly monitoring these types of things and then adjusting, if need be, on the fly, right? And so obviously this is the most important player on this team. Some people would say one of the most important players in the league. So it's not like he's going to have any less scrutiny than anybody else. He's going to have a ton more scrutiny. And so I think this is all part of the natural rehabilitation process and the fact that they're going to ease him along. And what you'll see is more than likely he'll start to get a little bit more exposure every day to different practice settings. If it's 7-on-7, 11-on-11, live, move the ball periods. And you'll be able to tell by watching, are they, integrating more dynamic stuff in his thing, or is it all going to be dropped back, And so kind of reading the tea leaves, you can kind of forecast where they think he's at.
We're talking to Aaron Borgman Rehab Solutions, joining us here on Cody and Gold. I know every player is different, so just you can, as you said, speak more in generality here. But how long post an ACL, LCL do you typically see a football player look and feel like they're back to truly being what they were before?
Yeah, so complicated question, but here's some broad strokes. Let's just understand the science behind everything first there. Even when that player is playing again, that graft is not fully healed to a year plus out of surgery. That has no bearing on functionality, right? There's a big difference between healed and functional. So players play all the time before the graft is fully healed. That healing occurs at its own rate, and everybody's a little bit different. However, we've seen some crazy stories, right? Adrian Peterson, so on and so forth. Now, that being said, this has never been a better time to be a quarterback in the National Football League. They have never been more protected in the National Football League. And so I would tell you, if this injury happened 10 or 15 years ago, maybe you're a little bit more cautious with it because of that. I think it's easy to kind of extrapolate the fact that one of the reasons that this rehabilitation can be advanced more quickly than in the past is because of those protections. That they're not going to hit him like they did 15, 20, 25 years ago, right? It's just not allowed in the game anymore. So that's a factor as well. Now, for me, I've taken care of a ton of quarterbacks in my life, and the one thing that you worry about with a quarterback is a front-sided injury, be it ankle or knee, because one of the telltale signs of progress is, are they kind of coming over that front side, or what I call a pivot side, backside being plant side, front side being pivot side. If they're not confident coming over that front side, the throw is going to be off, right? It's not going to be on target as much. Now, with this athlete, he throws from so many different angles and so many different body positions that it may not matter. But so that's one of the crucial factors that you can tell that someone starts to be comfortable is how their throws on target. That's first thing. And then the other thing that's a huge factor is what we call the science of stopping, is the deceleration. Can you stop with that injured side and immediately go back the other way without having a whole bunch of body lag or lean to the affected side? So once you start to see those signs, you know that athlete is in a good place. More especially important for a quarterback and a mobile quarterback.
When you look at a guy like, I guess, because the Chiefs are dealing with this on a couple different fronts, Omar Norman-Lott's got an ACL injury too, but is it harder for like defensive linemen or those guys because of the way they have to use their lower body? Because he's not practicing yet. I guess that's why I'm asking. I imagine it's harder for them to recover from it.
Yeah, so that's why it's really important when you hear about any injury to take into account the position that they play. Obviously, a defensive lineman has not anywhere near the protections that a quarterback does. So that's one factor. But also you got to understand, like, they're leaning and leveraging that leg way more than a quarterback ever could. Obviously, I don't know where that player is at in his progress. A larger player, larger body mass, that's a factor as well. And so you wonder or not if any of these things are kind of leaning that player's rehab to be a little bit more graded. We just don't know that information right now. But you could see how the differences there could be apparent. Again, I think that the quarterback will always be more protected and more able to do whatever they want to do than a defensive lineman, unfortunately for the defensive lineman.
When you look at, I guess, like we said about the timeline for him and everything else inside of it and just these injury recovery points, in your case, you said the graft isn't healed. How is a year reasonable to assume, like, similar explosion? Because now these injuries, I mean, people can get back to the same level of athleticism that they were at before, right? We're no longer worried about that kind of recovery just as long as things go the way they're supposed to.
Yeah, so everybody's a little bit different with this, and it's a great question because, that graft is going to take whatever time it needs to heal. You can't really speed up biology. What we can speed up is your reaction and how strong you get and how dynamic you get. And hopefully everything else just kind of falls in line, right? I tell people all the time, by 6 months, you're going to be feeling like you can do everything. It may not feel normal to you yet. By 9 months, you're going to feel like, man, I'm on top of it. I'm moving, I'm cutting, I'm doing all the things that I normally can. I have confidence in it. And then that last phase is truly starting to trust it to get back to normal. And you can be as strong as you want. You can be as dynamic as you want. That last phase is really the important part of being like, okay, this is how I get back to normal. This is what the rehab has taught me. And that's why rehabilitation is such the important part. The surgery is a fantastic part, obviously, because that's what gets us there. But that's what makes rehab the most important part. Obviously, I'm biased in my mind, because that's how you get the player back to being themselves, getting them to trust putting that foot in the ground and cutting hard, or getting them to put that foot in the ground and twist on it or plant or whatever it might be for each individual player.
Aaron Borgman of Borgman Rehab Solutions, spent 12 years in the NFL. I see your tweets all the time. Tell me, what's the biggest misconception or the thing that drives you crazy the most when you see coverage of ACL injuries or fans watching videos and trying to diagnose what's actually happening?
Yeah, man. So I get frustrated by a lot of things that are out there in the social media sphere, by a lot of things. I try my best to dispel a lot of that stuff. But listen, I think the thing that bothers me the most is ahead of time or ahead of schedule. That kind of stuff is just, no one really knows that but the people inside the room. And so when you see national reporters saying these things, they're getting it obviously from someplace, but they have no idea. And honest to God, some of the players don't even know that until they get out there. And so it's really like this personal thing between the player and the people that are rehabbing them about the timelines. The timelines bother me, and I never use timelines with my folks. Yes, we have to have them as guidelines, but I tell people all the time, you're ready when you're ready. And so, when someone's ahead of schedule or behind schedule, like, that bothers me because there's so many factors that people just don't know that goes on behind the scenes.
Last question. We had asked it before when we were talking about the injury itself. Our producer today, JT, had said, how long would it take you to run a full sprint if you had the exact same injury as Patrick Mahomes? I said I may never sprint again at 41 years old. I may just decide running is out. But I think a minimum of 2 years. How long do you think it would take us?
Oh, no, you'll be sprinting at 5-6 months. The problem is stopping and cutting. The full sprinting ahead is the easy part. It's the slowing down and putting on the brakes and then changing direction that you struggle with. The average person, we're talking, 8, 9, 10 months, something like that for your average weekend warrior before you feel like you're back to yourself.
Okay.
Well, you work with Aaron, and
I'm not an average weekend warrior. That's why it'd be 2 years. See, and I've recovered from several knee surgeries.
Aaron, great stuff. Appreciate the insight, man.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it, and let me know where you guys end up to rehydrate.
There you go. Yeah, I'll check my phone here to see some suggestions on that. That's Aaron Borgman of Borgman Rehab Solutions. Again, he spent 12-plus years on NFL sidelines. He joined us on the Golden Oak Lending phone line. I think the part that really stood out and is important for people listening was the fact that he mentioned, look, the functionality part versus truly fully healed. He's not going to be fully healed
for a while.
But
Mahomes said a couple years, maybe.
Yeah, but that does not mean he won't be functional at some point during the season or whatever. And right now, remember, he's cleared to practice. He's not cleared to play in a game yet. Yeah. Those were the two big things I think that are important for people to realize. Even though we all think he's playing week 1, he has not been cleared to play in a game yet.
No,
He's
correct.
been cleared to practice.
Which is different, and he has a jersey on, and like he said, that's, that is things you can do now and get there. But look, I don't want him playing anywhere near preseason. 49 days. It's a long time. 7 weeks until he plays a football game. So from today.
Yeah.
So there is plenty of time for him to continue to heal and get stronger long before we get there. Especially when you consider what he's done in the time since the injury. How many weeks has it been since the injury?
Happened in December, right? Early December, I believe, against the Chargers, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see. Yeah, December. It was December 14th, or it was we'll just call it December 15th, just because you said mid-December. That seems fair. It's been 31 weeks. So, he's going to add another 7 to it. That's a huge percentage of his recovery time.
Training camp coverage presented by Yingling Flight. Football season starts here. Reach for Yingling Flight, the next generation of light beer. Enjoy it responsibly. Up next, we'll get a quick what's trending, then also our conversation we had earlier today with Nate Taylor of ESPN. He did, unfortunately, break the news of the terrible circumstance happening in Virginia around Eric Bieniemy's family and his wife ending up in the hospital after that gunshot wound. We also will start something we're going to do throughout camp. We normally with a player when we have a player interview, but today, no player today, so our friends over at the Art of Sports gave us some Topps Chrome packs to open up. We'll see what we can get next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
And Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog!
Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct. To the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hi, I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Be a part of history by attending Chiefs training camp in St. Joseph, Missouri this summer. See the Chiefs and make a St. Joe memory. Whether it's touring one of the many museums, staying in a historic home turned bed and breakfast, experiencing quality dining and brewery options, hitting the River Bluff bike trails, or supporting a vibrant art scene, St. Joseph has something for everyone. Go to stjomo.com to view or download a free visitor guide and plan your trip. Produced in cooperation with Visit Missouri.
It's the summer sales event at Rob Side Ford. Your chance to upgrade without the stress. Rob Side joins me now. Rob, what's the offer?
0% financing, $0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on nearly the entire Ford lineup.
That's a serious summer deal.
Sure is. And unlike your brisket last weekend, these deals aren't dry.
Okay, that's fair. These savings are definitely juicy.
And we're backing it up with 2 years of complimentary maintenance, a non-commissioned sales team, and top trade-in values.
No pressure. Remember, no gimmicks at Robside Ford. The way car buying should be.
We're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer, 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 Google reviews, and a better experience from start to finish.
So skip the smoke and the dry meat. This summer, start at Robside Ford.
135th and State Line or robsight.com. 0% financing, $0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 2 years of complimentary maintenance.
Robside Ford, buy right, drive happy. And next time, maybe stick to potato salad.
Kansas City is buzzing this summer, and the excitement keeps rolling into August at the Advent Health Championship, Kansas City's only professional golf tournament, August 20th through 23rd at Blue Hills Country Club. Watch the next generation of PGA Tour stars compete for their shot at the big stage. Follow your favorite player, enjoy the action from greenside, or upgrade to an all-inclusive hospitality experience. With tickets starting at just $10, there's something for everyone. Keep your summer going. Get your tickets today at AdventHealthChampionship.com.
Oh, hey, Sarah. Did you hear my daughter Katie got Camper of the Week?
That's a big deal.
We got a big deal too, right, Mom?
Honey, shh.
What's that?
Okay, that Hyundai Santa Fe, I only paid.
Nice.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days, or 1.9% APR for 72 months on the Hyundai Tucson, Santa Fe, or Santa Fe Hybrid during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Hurry, offer ends August 3rd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business? Ah.
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more. So you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
All right, back here on Cody and Gold. We're live in St. Joe. We'll actually skip what's trending here as we got a lot still to get to before we get off the air here from Mo West. We're back here on Wednesday. Thanks again to Aaron Borgman for joining us, giving us some great insight on the recovery for Patrick Mahomes. Also, here in 15 minutes or so, we will get to some packs. We've got some Topps Chrome 2025 packs thanks to the Art of Sports in Leawood. Normally, we will open these up with a player, and so hopefully we'll pull something big with one of the Chiefs players that will join us. But no player today. We should have a player join us starting on Wednesday. Earlier today, though, Nate Taylor from ESPN joined us, unfortunately, to talk a lot about the news out of Virginia involving Eric Bieniemy's wife and son and the terrible circumstance around that. Here was some of our conversation with Nate Taylor.
Yeah, based on the sheriff's department in Virginia, the shooting we are led to believe happened around 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. here. Deputies arrived at the scene. I believe in the statement from the spokesperson said they arrived at 7:32 p.m. We don't have a ton of information what happened, how things were assessed. I have no idea, ladies and gentlemen, how this shooting occurred or why this shooting happened between Mia Bieniemy, the wife of offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, and their son, I should say, Elijah, being arrested as the one suspect in this shooting. And I reported it a little bit ago that, she is in stable condition at a local hospital in Virginia. And from my sources, she was shot not only multiple times, but in the chest and in the arm. Ooh. So, when I became aware of this, I want to say around 9 o'clock last night.
So pretty soon after. Yes,
and the team was aware of it pretty soon after, as you can imagine. I I feel awful. When you learn of something of this significance, it's our job as reporters to find what is accurate and obviously check in with a bunch of people. The Sheriff's Department has put out a statement of all the charges for Elijah Bieniemy, who's 27. There was some concern last night of just how old are Eric and Mia's children, because they have 2 sons. And, he wasn't officially booked last night, so that led to a little bit of confusion as to, okay, I was starting to hear, was it a family-involved shooting? Okay, well, what does that mean? And then also, we don't have anything in terms of documentation of someone being arrested or being booked last night. Now, this is a very sensitive news story. It's incredibly sad, and it was made clear to me last night that Eric Bieniemy was not going to be at today's practice. For the thoroughness of it all, you have to wait until we actually drive up here and we see that he's not here at practice to let the public know. And as Andy Reid just said, whatever it was 20 minutes ago, we have no idea when Eric Bieniemy is going to be back with the team, because from what I'm hearing, this could be a pretty significant road to recovery for Mia, who was, as wild as this is to say, accurately, she was shot multiple times by her own son.
Do we think that there's a chance that Bieniemy just takes the year off?
I don't know. I mean, I guess
at this point, it's just all plausible.
Anything is plausible at this point. I mean, I can't. And again, sometimes you hear tips, sometimes you get a tip, sometimes you start talking within your own company. So in that case, it's obviously I work for ESPN, so you got to get the news department on it. We have an entire investigative team. We have a lot of resources that we can sort of enact pretty quickly, even if it's on a Sunday night in late July and you're not necessarily anticipating something of this magnitude occurring. But I learned of this sitting on the couch with Holly, my wife, and then trying to explain to her, okay, well, this is what I'm hearing. Okay, these are the things that I'm seeing. I don't know what's true or if this is just hearsay, but obviously I got to drop everything and go seek out, accurate information as to what is going on. I mean, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I am completely speculating, so let's be clear on that. Do I expect Eric Bieniemy to be in St. Joseph? No. I can't.
I mean, I wouldn't anticipate it, but also I don't know. Who knows?
But you don't know.
Handle these circumstances all very different.
Yes. But again, where she was shot, and at least we know less than 24 hours that she is stable. That's about as good news as you could imagine or that you could hope for, based on my understanding of talking to a number of people involved in this. But this is also, as Andy Reid said, a family matter, and that's where it gets even more complex because his son was charged. What was it? 3 charges, I believe. We can we can get to the
3 charges.
Yeah, we can get to the specifics here in a minute. But he's facing 3 significant charges for this family-related shooting in their own home. So there are a number of factors that would lead to anyone, let alone Eric Bieniemy or just the average American worker. Okay, I got to take significant time away from my job.
Yeah. Again, the charges from the Loudoun County, Virginia Sheriff's Office. Elijah Bieniemy was arrested, charged with malicious wounding, use of a firearm, and commission of a felony, and discharge of a firearm inside of a dwelling. Just a terrible, terrible story and situation. Our thoughts with EB and his family moving forward. We've got Nate Taylor from ESPN joining us. If there's no way to transition away from that into football, it seems silly. I understand that.
Yes.
But here we are at training camp, and today, in the last couple days, it's just been rookies and quarterbacks, although, again, today, a vet day off for Patrick Mahomes. We did our Camp Darling draft that we do every year, okay?
Right,
So we just drafted I want to run these by you and see. I'm curious, actually, who you would list as your number one, but we did a draft Cody had the first pick.
Okay.
And he went with Cyrus Allen, then eventually Jeff Caldwell and Xavier Lloyd. So he went all wide receivers for Camp Darling. Last year, Tyquan Thornton, of course, was for Camp Darling.
He was probably the biggest winner.
Yes,
you could
he
say
did.
last
he
year.
was a runaway.
Yes. JT, who's filling in for Drew drafted Emmett Johnson, Garrett Nussmeier, and Ashton Gelati. We let Gelati in. We let him in.
Why?
Because I had an issue with it.
Technically, he's your projected starting.
Thank you.
He only had a
defensive end.
sack and a half, though.
Thank you.
Opposite
He's
of
a
George
starter,
He's a
though.
starter.
Also, if he was a starter wide receiver, I probably wouldn't have let him.
So
That's hard to be Camp Darling at defensive end.
True.
Once he went Gelati, I said, well, can I go Noel Williams? And they said no. So my draft was R. Mason Thomas was my first pick candidate, the corner, and then Jalen Royals.
Okay, yeah, those are all fair. Out of the list you said, I think Kennedy has a chance to really be a darling. Now, Cyrus Allen did have a nice touchdown reception in 7-on-7 red zone yesterday in the back of the end zone where you could tell, hey, at least he's on time with Patrick Mahomes, and at least he understands where the void was in the zone coverage. So that's a good positive for him. I know we didn't do the top draft pick, so we are removing him from the discussion.
You can't take Delane. You can't take Peter Woods.
Okay, because I think Peter Woods, I would encourage people just to.
He moves for a guy his size. It's impressive.
Yeah, if you can come to a training camp practice here coming soon when they're in the pads and it's as close to football as we all enjoy watching during training camp, Peter Woods might jump off the page. In terms of the other names.
What about the wide receivers? How about that? Royals, Cyrus Allen, as you already mentioned, and then anybody else? And I know you we're going to talk about it in the Chiefs Red Half Hour, but I think on your podcast, you guys were talking about the fourth wide receiver spot.
Yes.
Nico Remigio's not here yet. He's
correct.
He's
also been around for 4 decades at this point. He can't be a Camp Darling.
But do you think one of these young? Yeah, not for a Camp Darling, but I just mean, do you think one of the names we mentioned can win the not the third spot, but the fourth
spot? Yeah, that's the real. Competition of it all. There's definitely a possibility that who knows if you find yourself continuing to make plays for Patrick Mahomes early in training camp, he will go back to you, and so you'll have the opportunity, whoever that is. Now he has the most experience, chemistry with Nico Remigio. They're very good friends, so I would give him a clear distance in terms of the starting position when everything gets kicked off here on Wednesday. I think Cyrus Allen probably has a little bit more of a chance to do it because, again, this is what I've seen so far. Jalen Royals to me is a mystery because
mystery's bad this time of year. You want your name known.
They didn't utilize him last year. I don't know what his translatable traits are. Like if you could, I want people to really think about this. What is Jalen Royals best at in the NFL?
None of us know.
Thank you. So until
it ain't speed.
And until I can see that, I just don't know. Now he's got a new receivers coach in Chad O'Shea. We would have hoped, and again, this was where it gets really complicated and all. But man, training camp is about building towards something and having real relationships and building continuity and team camaraderie and what does the coaching staff want? Well, a big component of the coaching staff is Eric Bieniemy. I thought Eric Bieniemy was one of the most important people for this training camp because he was going to try to really get guys to be more disciplined, more consistent, getting a, and even Andy Reid has said this, back to a place of true fundamentals. You cannot be great until we get the fundamentals right. Well, the best place to get fundamentals right is in training camp. How do you get out of the huddle? Do you know your position? Okay, how do you read the defense? What does a quarterback want? Okay, when we get this coverage, what's the answer? All those things now all of those duties will be passed over to Joe Blameyer, who will be taking over Eric Bieniemy's duties for the foreseeable until we're told otherwise, until he decides to return. But I would love to know what the plan is for Jalen Royals. I can't tell you definitively what the plan is because he might, from a position frame body work, be more of a slot guy. So do you shadow him with Rashee Rice in mind?
His best case scenario, he's like Juju Smith-Schuster.
I guess, but Juju was a really good route runner when he came into the league. And again, I can't say that right now about Jalen Royals. And so how much time are you going to give Jalen Royals before you got to decide, hey, here are our 4 to 5 guys for Mahomes, and we really got to take this, we really got to carry this from this day forth on. You you can't spend all the time sort of developing, a rookie or a second-year player, but I at least know from a draft standpoint and what I've seen today, or 2 days, I should say 3 now, what Cyrus Allens is capable of, and knowing that Nico Remigio is your guy with some wiggle in the slot compared to, an Xavier Worthy as a speed threat up the middle, or the zone buster, the guy who's really going to be connected with Mahomes the way Rashee Rice is coming out of the slot alongside Travis Kelce.
What's the internal? This is like, you usually spend time talking about the guy who gets cut. Blaymeier's 43, or 44. He's like mid-40s or whatever it is. What's the internal say on him? What kind of coach is he? Is he more like an Aggie, a tactician? Is he a hard ass? Like what? What I'm saying? Like what's his general reputation? I guess. Seeing how we're gonna get. We're gonna hear from Joe Blameier more here in the.
Yeah, that's true. God, you're just coming to more. You're realizing things.
There's ripple effects.
Yeah,
in
in real time here, because I hadn't even thought about that. I've talked to Blameier a ton. Enjoy him. He really came up with the rise of, and this name hopefully will sound, this name will be recognized to people, even though he's been away from the team for years. But he kind of rose alongside Mike Kafka.
Okay.
Honestly,
because he was under wide receivers coach and passing. He's passing game coordinator now, right?
Yes. So he's been working with.
He's been with the team for a few years.
So think of it this way: if you're grooming someone, right, to be something further in their NFL career, given where they are right now and the age and who they've worked under, Joe Blameier's worked under Andy Reid. Obviously, that's a positive. He's worked before with Eric Bieniemy. He's worked before with Greg Lewis, who used to be the receivers coach that he was under. Then he obviously took over at receiver once Greg Lewis left. He's been with Kafka. They were one of the guys who was really, I think around like that 2020 season was really like their thing was designing big plays downfield.
Yeah.
And getting Mahomes to see it and feel comfortable with it, and the aggressors, like they were the young guys drawing up aggressive shots, and it was obviously, Andy and Eric, how do we match this to the overall scheme so that it looks and it feels consistent to what we're telling the players on a week-to-week basis. And then obviously, over time, now with the pass game coordinatorship, which really began around, I want to say that 2024 season really came into fruition, like, hey, like he's taking over the entire pass game offense. Obviously, he understands what Andy's looking for.
Based on what I can see, he was the pass game coordinator starting in 2023.
2023, but 2024 is where I really felt like he started to imprint some identity on the offense himself, along with Matt Nagy, Andy Reid, and again, he's been
with the team since 2016.
Yeah, he's been here the whole. I was just about to say this. He's been here the whole time with Mahomes, so he has a really good understanding of like, okay, where are we trying to push Mahomes? Where is Mahomes most comfortable with? Okay, it used to be here. Hey guys, here's what the quarterback's saying as the receivers coach. Do what the quarterback says, or see what he's seen.
Not your job.
Versus now, getting more scheme based, and so he's gonna. What's fascinating is he's gonna have to go from like scheme guy and like mirroring it up or stitching it up, right? If you're a sewer, like we got to get these things to like look nicely. We got to make the dress look nice. But it can't all be the same. But it's all got to make sense. To now, you're being the guy who's like, that's the wrong hand placement. You should be here and not here. You should actually be a little closer to the hash marks or to the sideline.
But he should have full working knowledge of the offense.
Correct.
It's just
correct.
But everybody, this. And this was the thing. And look, it's easy to say when people leave. But the whole thing after Nagy left was, and the reason why they wanted to go back to EB, and this isn't saying they think Matt Nagy was bad at his job, but Matt Nagy he's a thinker. Right, he's the we'll find a way to manipulate the system inside the system. Not, I'll just make you work harder to win. That's the way they were talking about. He's the angle. I'll find the angle. Not, I'll yell at you for 45 minutes on the football field and make your ass work harder.
Right, but the habits, lead to what you do on Sundays, and that's why Eric Bieniemy's voice and his run game concepts.
Those are big.
That were supposed to match up with the pass game and most notably play action based stuff that, Blameier's been around. Obviously, Joe Girardi, the quarterback's coach. Obviously, Mahomes, Andy. You're supposed to be the one that's again, this is a very complex operation. It's not usually just one person
So if you're Blameyer,
taking over everything. But again, everybody has to fill their role, and now it's slightly different because someone's not here.
Let's say it's no training camp. Do you try to impart your own plan or just execute the plan he's...
You have to execute the plan that was presented.
It's
the same conversation we had earlier
It's
about
so tough.
It's going to be tough because it's not your voice and it's not what people were expecting.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to do two jobs in one. And ask anybody in America who works at a job of, pretty good significance or hierarchy or regimentation.
Someone leaves the business, you got to do their job and your job. It's not fun.
That's not easy, kids. And I don't know if you know this, guys, but they play football games, and that's less than 2 months. So you don't have time on your hands either. They've had all the installs ready to go, right? For like people who are wondering, well, okay, how is this all gonna mature and develop over time?
That's done.
Well, they've already had the offense, but there's got to be teaching points, and then you got to see it on the field, and then you do a little bit of experimentation, or to your Matt Nagy point, there's a little bit of tinkering here and there, because maybe the player doesn't feel comfortable with what we've put on the
Mahomes
board.
might say, no, I don't like it this way, I want it that way. Or Ken Walker might say,
so we're polishing. We're polishing, we're sort of editing, we're sort of like, blending more ideas together, but the actual installs, the protection plans, the route concepts downfield, those have already kind of been in place, but none of us have seen it yet. And now Blameyer's got to teach it, not the exact same way as Eric Bieniemy, because he's a totally different person. He's his own. But you got to have the same message, and you still got to make the fundamentals, the running blocking schemes, the angles, the how do you get out of your breaks, how do you get on the timing of the quarterback, how do you hear the quarterback's message in the huddle, and then go out and execute it. All those things are still extremely important this time of the year when you are starting training camp literally less than 48 hours from now.
Nate Taylor from ESPN with us a little bit earlier today, talking a lot about, of course, the terrible news around the Eric Bieniemy family that has prompted him to, of course, leave training camp with no timeline, right? And nobody has the answer to that. And then we were talking about Joe Blameyer, who is going to take over for the time being. We'll probably have a chance to hear from him at some point in the next couple of days as well. But appreciate Nate Taylor, who's going to stop by most practices, so I believe Wednesday, he'll stop by as well. Okay, before we get out of here from St. Joe, don't forget, want to thank our training camp sponsors, Break Time, one of them, whether fueling up or grabbing a snack on the way to training camp. Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app and find a location near you. When we have a player join us, which will be hopefully every other day at camp.
Supposed to be.
We will talk to a player exclusively here on the show. We're going to do something different with them this year. We're going to have some fun. We're going to open a couple packs of Topps Chrome NFL 2025, which is the officially licensed NFL trading card. Our friends over at the Art of Sports were kind enough to give us some packs, so we're going to do that. Go check them out at Town Center. All right, we've got 3 packs today since there's no player. Normally, you and I each get 1 pack to open, but all right, here we go. Let's just see if we get anything today. We're looking for rookies. There are some numbered...
Oh, lost my pack. That's fine.
You're a rapper. You're good. Numbered Mahomes cards we're looking for. All right,
right.
base neighbors, Devontae Watt, Tutu Atwell. All right, rookie Dante Thornton Jr. Not a good receiver for the Raiders, but that's one rookie.
I'm afraid mine are just basic.
Okay, so we got 1 rookie card, but it's not the rookie card we want. Wrong Raider rookie, Cody. What did Ashton Genty? We got Dante Thornton Jr., who is, I think, on my dynasty team. He stinks.
H-Hand, future star. Hand me 2. I was like, hand me the back 2, and we'll make it happen. Nope.
I mean, it
doesn't matter. Just open them. What do we got?
Roshan Johnson, Chris Olave, Jalen Phillips. Our rookie is Tyler Warden. So at least it's a base. It's a base card. It's not numbered. That'd be the only one I think is worth sleeving at all.
But just fun right at the end.
Okay.
Do something
Tyler
with a player.
Warden, rookie. We'll hold on to that one. Something else that I think we can tell our audience that I think they're going to like too, Cody. You guys all have been amazing supporters of the Cody and Gold Garage Sale.
Yeah.
All proceeds of that, you guys know, benefit the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. So what we decided to do, and we appreciate the Chiefs for working with us on this, we are going to have a Chiefs helmet that we bring to camp, and every person that we interview is going to sign that helmet. And then we're going to put it in the Cody and Gold Garage Sale next year
to raise
some
money,
money, but also going to be a pretty sick item. It could have a wide variety of autographs. It should have, if all goes well, about 14 autographs on it.
Yeah.
If all
as
goes
long as
well.
we don't mess up and forget.
And so it could be, look, one day it might be Emmett Johnson. The next day it could be Xavier Worthy or Kenneth
Mansour
Walker
Delane.
or Mansour Delane, or we'd love to have Chris Jones back on the show. Who knows?
Years ago, Travis Kelce used to.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Would that really up the value of the helmet?
It's just a cool item that we know we'll have for the garage sale, but it'll be guests from the 2026 training camp that we had up here.
So specific really to our show, because it'll be the people who show up on this show. So you'll be able to go back, hear the interviews they did, and know that they sat at the table with us. But yeah, that's a cool, we think, planned item for the Cody and Gold Garage Show. No big hits yet.
Now, when Tyler Warren,
you know what? If we're gonna have a Duddy day, better when it's just me and you. You know?
I told you I would have been upset if we would have pulled an auto today when it's just you and I. I want to pull something Mahomes or something a little bit bigger when we have
no
somebody like Xavier Worthy or somebody. Tyler Warren was the best card. That's a base rookie. It's a pretty low bar there.
If you can get him to sign it, maybe.
Well, that's different. Yeah. Someone says, does the value go down if a wasp is on the card? I think it actually goes up.
Yeah,
actually,
it's the inherent danger of it.
I mean, if you guys really want the cards bad, we'll compile these and we'll put any of the non numbered ones in a pack for the garage sale if you want. I don't know if anybody wants those. But.
What happens if we pull? Let's say player sitting down here tomorrow. Ken Walker sitting here tomorrow. We pull a Mahomes Superfractor. How's the
101 Mahomes?
How's the number work?
He doesn't autograph.
Who gets what cash?
I think the agreement, the joke is, hey, if we pull anything that's worth like $5+ grand, we got to split the money with the player.
You get Mahomes to sign it, then you can have 60%.
Yeah, we'll work something out.
I
would love for this to be a problem. I would love for this to be a problem.
You pull the player that you're interviewing.
Oh, they keep their card.
Do they sign it and give it to you?
No,
for the garage sale?
The chances of that happening are pretty slim. It would have to be somebody like Xavier Worthy or Kenneth Walker. Probably is about, and that's probably about it. There's no Monson.
12 cards a day.
There's no Delane cards yet in this pack or anything like that. But anyway, we'll be doing that. We're back up here on Wednesday. Thanks to JT who's filling in this week. We're back in studio tomorrow. We'll talk to you guys then. The Drive coming up next.
In this harbor town, and she works laying whiskey down. They say, Brandy, fetch another round.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circus Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. Dane Hughes here, and for everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circus Sports app. Then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circus Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Conservative, family man, author of The Bald Plan to Reduce Property Taxes. Listen to Scott Schwab.
Property taxes are killing Kansans, but one day it hit me. BALD.
BALD stands for Better Affordable Living by Decreasing Property Taxes. And it's the only detailed plan. Schwab's BALD plan means voter approval for property tax hikes, refunds for unfair assessments, and tax relief for seniors, and